It's 57-year-old Sam Cassidy. San Jose Fire also had to respond to a house fire shortly after the shooting, and police say they believe the home belonged to the gunman. Pacific Gas and Electric will pay $43.4 million to 3 counties in Northern California to cover bills from wildfires that occurred during the past 2 years by the company's neglected power grid. The settlements will cover some of the costs incurred by 10 government agencies during the 2019 Kincaid fire in Sonoma County and the Zog fire in Shasta County last September. The company is still facing 33 criminal charges for the Kincaid fire. President Biden asking the intelligence community to step up the effort to track down the origins of COVID-19. The two theories that it was a mishap in a lab in Wuhan, China, or human contact with an infected animal.
We will continue to press China to participate in a full, transparent, evidence-based international investigation with the needed access to get to the bottom of a virus that's taken more than 3 million lives across the globe.
Deputy Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, the president is asking for a report in 90 days and wants American labs to be part of the investigation. But he also acknowledged the source of the virus may never be known because China has refused to cooperate. Wall Street, the Dow gained 10 points. America is listening to Fox News. Former Senator John Warner.
You're still running your business on QuickBooks? More like quicksand. The bigger your company grows, the faster you sync with outdated software. NetSuite by Oracle is the scalable solution to run all key back-office operations, no matter how big your company grows. 93% of surveyed organizations increased visibility and control since making the switch from QuickBooks to NetSuite. Right now, NetSuite is offering a one-of-a-kind financing program. Head to netsuite.com/Fox. That's special financing at netsuite.com/Fox, netsuite.com/Fox.
A Republican from Virginia who served for 5 terms before retiring in 2009 has died. Warner also served as Navy Secretary during the Nixon administration and was a Navy and Marine Corps veteran, serving in both World War II and Korea.
He was a consummate public servant, a consensus builder, an authority on military affairs, one of the last World War II veterans to serve in this chamber. And he actually interrupted his law school studies to join the Marine Corps during the Korean War.
Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, Republican leader Mitch McConnell called him a principled patriot across the board. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi called Warner a great patriot, a leader unafraid to speak the truth, but always committed to finding common ground and consensus. In 1976, Warner married Elizabeth Taylor. They divorced in 1982. Taylor later said she couldn't take loneliness when he became engrossed in his Senate duties. John Warner was 94. As vaccination rates against COVID-19 are going up, sales of face masks are going down.
People stocked up on face masks over the last year, and now the country's vaccination push and easing regulations are resulting in slower sales. Online marketplace Etsy has seen masks go from 14% of merchandise sales to just 2.5% recently. Face masks were the #1 most searched product on Amazon last year, but recently dropped to number 50. However, specialty masks like those created by wedding.
Nothing you do or say will ever reach the lofty heights attained by the following news summary. This is the Onion Week in Review. Facing increased market pressure and a shrinking bottom line, media company Star Trove was forced to lay off dozens of unskilled bloggers this week. Sources confirmed that before being dismissed, many of the bloggers had been with the company for months, regularly performing menial tasks such as describing celebrity outfits and composing quizzes about Disney characters.
I mean, I'd been with this company for almost a year. It wasn't the most rewarding job, and I didn't have health insurance, but it paid the bills. I'm already 25 years old. I just don't know where to go from here.
In other news, a 6-day visit to a rural African village completely changes a woman's Facebook profile picture. A new dating website helps plus-size Jewish plane crash survivors find love. And a kid figures he'll go down the slide 36 more times and then call it a day.
This is the Onion News Network.
A heroic broken sewage pipe floods Congress with waste. Johnson & Johnson introduces new leave-in Q-tips. This Thursday, local youth Andrew Robillard told reporters he had no idea why he couldn't wear his Iron Man costume to his grandfather's funeral. Robillard, whose grandfather passed away this week after complications from a stroke, vented his frustration to reporters and noted that his grandpa, quote, probably wouldn't even care if he dressed like Iron Man at the funeral.
Iron Man is awesome. I want to wear my Iron Man suit. I am Iron Man.
And in tech news, a news website refers to its users' ceaseless exchange of racial slurs as a discussion. In other news, Guinness World Records promotes the man who can lift 27 pounds with his tongue to editor-in-chief. Thursday's cry is moved up to Wednesday due to a scheduling conflict, and a family watches in silence as Dad checks out the waitress.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Oh, you were expecting She Talk Live, weren't you?
Of course. We're still here.
Well, that's true. I asked around. I neglected to ask Angie, of course, but I asked around. I'm like, does anybody have like a wig I can borrow? Because I figured I'd do like the first segment in like a high voice, be like, "Welcome to She Talk Live," yeah, but wearing a wig and
that would have been great. We could repeat it next Wednesday. I can bring you one.
Well, the schedule is going to change for obvious reasons because, well, the government says that certain people involved with Free Talk Live can or cannot talk to certain other people, and so that creates a bit of difficulty for us running this particular radio program. So we'll figure that out as time goes on. But
you can identify as female for the rest of the segment.
That's a great idea.
I could, but I mean, why would I want to?
Because it's She Talk Live.
I mean, unless it helps me get chicks.
You never know.
If you are, if you're a girl and you're into manly sort of women, why, I'm probably the manliest woman you'll encounter.
I have had lots of women that have been at my place that have met you that's like, who's that guy with the goatee?
I get that from time to time. There was anyway.
Is your face red?
It is, yeah. Before we go on, I should do my hostly duties. I said duties. This is Free Talk Live. And if you want to call in, I see there's somebody calling already. The telephone number is 603-283-6160. Again, 603-283-6160. Aria is out tonight for what should be obvious reasons. We were going to attempt to have her host remotely. She had something else come up that probably would have cut her short from arriving on time to do the show. And so she asked if I would fill in for her, and I said, well, of course.
So here we are.
Here I am because, well, I love this show. So at any rate, in the studio tonight, it is myself, the Lord Reverend Dr. Captain Kickass.
It's Angie.
And Bonnie.
And we're going to talk about fun stuff. Have you guys had an opportunity? I know, Bonnie, you've been hanging out with Ian since he got out of jail. Is this the first time you've seen?
This is the first time I have seen Ian since, I saw him on camera when he walked out with his hair and his everything, yeah.
Did you get to give him a hug?
I did give him a hug. Sure did. It was nice.
Ian's a good hugger.
Awesome. Yeah, he's a huggable person. Didn't you have a T-shirt? I'm asking you because you're sitting behind me. Didn't you have a free hug? No, that was Kokesh who had the free hugs T-shirt. Never mind.
Ian needs a free
We can get a
Sharpie.
T-shirt.
Yeah, we need to get him a T-shirt that says free hugs.
Ian will give you a hug if you want. Unless you're a statist.
Yeah, the BIPCOT license would apply.
What is that?
A BIPCOT is a license where you can apply to any sort of creative or media work that you do that says you're free to use any part of this work for anything you want, unless you are part of the state.
Oh, nice. Okay, I like that.
Yeah, it's sort of it's an interesting licensing format that says if you're part of the state government and entity or whatever, you can't use this in any way, shape, or form. It's an interesting reverse licensing.
But do you know who came up with that?
I believe it was Michael Dean of the Freedom Fiends.
Okay.
Who came up with that.
When was that? Any idea? How long has it been?
Ago. It's probably been a decade.
The old
or so.
days.
Nice.
Probably been a decade.
Smart man.
that they always talk about without me.
So I have some show prep here. This one is just bizarre. This is from Intellectual Takeout. They have a little picture of, I don't even know what this thing looks like. It kind of looks like a munchkin.
Looks like a little kid's cartoon character.
It kind of looks like a Teletubby without the ring.
Yeah,
on top
that's
of
exactly
its head.
it. It's little.
But it's a robot as well. There's a little kid in front of it. And, it looks like the kid is listening intently, and the robot is pointing at the kid.
Almost like its face is glowing.
As if the robot is directing the kid as to what to do. The headline here reads, a robot parent can now raise your kids.
Sign me up.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
As a mother, of course,
I mean, I guess it could be useful if they were, I don't know, if you could program them maybe.
Well, of course you can. They're robots.
How many can I get?
How many do you need?
A lot. Have you met my children?
I have. Your children are great.
Thanks.
Yes.
I think so too.
No, your children are great. But this sort of frightens me because in one way, I feel like, well, it's the free market, coming in with some new invention and how to do a thing. But then I was also sort of raised by television, and I had to overcome a bunch of stuff because of that, right? Like how to function in, regular life and interact with carbon-based life forms and that kind of a thing. So I'm not really sure. But this starts out, it says, parents overwhelmed with caring for their children as the coronavirus pandemic continues to cancel school and all of their children's other activities can take heart. A new robot arriving this fall will handle your parenting duties. Meet Moxie, the new dystopian product from Embodied Incorporated. The sound you hear when this robot boots up in Embodied Inc.'s advertisement even sounds vaguely like it belongs in a science fiction horror movie. Moxie is a diminutive teal-colored robot which supposedly allows kids to, quote, engage in meaningful play every day with content informed by the best practices in child development and early childhood education.
And who has determined that those are the best practices?
That is a great question.
Because
I'm sure that my practices are probably completely different than what they have.
Yeah, is it just one robot fits all, or can you give it certain lessons you want your kids to learn, or
And I want a color. I want to pick out a color. I don't want teal.
Yeah, I know. I thought that was strange too.
I don't want this teal. I want zebra stripes.
Exactly. That's gonna. My child are gonna be like, who is this?
I want lightning bolts.
Boring.
Some kind of
Captain Kick-Ass.
Can you get some skins on this thing, so to speak? That's what they call, the...
Yeah, I know what skins are.
The things you put on your cell phone, your cases, and that. They call them skins.
Well, they do that in Fortnite as well.
Yes.
Do you have skins?
Yes, and we're not talking about potato skins or the football team formerly known as the Washington Redskins. No.
They're not known as that anymore?
No, they're actually called the Washington Football Team.
Really?
You're serious.
I am serious as a heart attack. WFT. Instead of WTF.
That's
right?
great. I love it. I love it.
They've changed their name. And so it's funny when they show scores on the NFL, updates during the season on ESPN and that kind of a thing. Because every team has a shortened abbreviation, and it's just WFT. Right, and you think it's WTF if you're slightly dyslexic like me, or it'll just say football team.
You're like, thank you for the details.
Like the New England Patriots. So it just says Patriots. It doesn't say New England anywhere.
Football team.
If the Patriots were playing the Washington football team, it would say Patriots and football team on the scoreboard.
I wonder who came up with that. They did that on purpose. They had to.
Well, right. So they tried coming up with a name, and I think they asked the fans for suggestions. They didn't do it in an official capacity where some lucky fan could win season tickets for life, which I thought they would do, but they didn't, because they have a fan base like that. The Washington Redskins are one of the oldest teams.
Well, they must have learned their lesson from when Mountain Dew asked fans to create a new flavor name.
What was it?
The one that won was really anti-Semitic. I can't remember what it was.
Ooh.
They
what,
anybody
Mountain
can.
Dew or something?
Did they use it?
I don't know. That was too fast. No, they couldn't use any of the ones that the fans voted highest up, so they just didn't use a fan-made one because they were all
nobody wins.
Yeah, nobody wins. There were just too many trolls.
So I don't know how we got to talking about football here on She Talk Live, but that's weird.
Yeah, I hate football.
Yeah.
Me too.
It should be called hand egg. Right?
Because you're tossing an egg-shaped ball.
Right, and your foot is rarely used. I mean, occasionally they kick a field goal or an extra point. There's a kickoff and there's a punt, but it's very rare in the game. The rest of the time, somebody is grabbing the egg-shaped ball with their hand, right? Whether they're throwing it or catching it or running with it, it should be called hand egg.
That's right. I got it.
603-283-6160. What do you think of the name of the Washington football team? Or would you allow your children to be raised by a teal-colored Teletubby-looking robot? More Free Talk Live is on the way. 603-283-6160.
The Terran Federation and the Terran League have been killing each other for decades. Sheltered, wealthy, and light years from the threat, the members of the 500 have no interest in changing that. When Rear Admiral Terrence Murphy is given governorship of a backwater system, a risk-free path to wealth and power is his for the taking. But Murphy is a man of honor, duty, and responsibility. He intends to stop the killing, whatever the cost. Governor, by David Weber and Richard Fox, from BaneBooks.com.
Are you tired of governments around the world killing innocent people? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin is money that cannot be inflated or controlled by any state. By continuing to use their money, you're perpetuating the killing. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available to you now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. It's Bitcoin.com.
Tired of cancel culture? Sick of mega tech corporations holding an axe over your head? Join the LRN.FM Matrix chat server. It's self-hosted, so no one else can tell us what to do or say. Don't like the existing channels? You can make your own. You can even connect into some of our channels from other Matrix servers. It's federated. For the full LRN.FM Matrix experience, though, you should join our server via the step-by-step instructions at chat.lrn.fm. Chat.lrn.fm.
Do you feel like your nation, state, or community no longer holds your values? Have you dreamt of a place where people agree that liberty is important and are free to pursue their projects so long as they respect the property of others? There are many people just like you that are discovering freeprivatecities.com. Their social media links are at the upper right of the page at freeprivatecities.com. All skill levels will be needed when the first of the Free Private Cities opens. It's sooner than you think. Stop arguing and build. freeprivatecities.com.
Excuse me, is this where I get a license to start a new business?
I wouldn't be hasty. You have to get a license to go out of business, too, you know.
Oh, well, look, I've invented this little anti-gravity machine, see?
Oh, is that why you're walking 2 inches above the floor?
Oh, yes, it's very comfortable. It saves on shoe leather.
Yeah, well, you have to fill out these forms and report to the Human Services Department of Manpower Orientation and register with the Fair Employment Practice Commission, the Wage and Hour Division of the Employment Standards Administration, the State Sales and Income Tax Division, the Internal Revenue Service, and the Social Security Administration of the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare, and, of course, OSHA.
OSHA? I thought that was a little town in Wisconsin.
You'll find out. Say, floating around like that could be dangerous. Have you checked with the Consumer Product Safety Commission?
Well, not yet.
Come to think of it, you actually are flying, aren't you? Look, you need to go over to the Federal Aviation Administration and the Transportation...
It's very hard to get anything done these days if you're in business, but free enterprise built this country. Think what could happen if we don't keep it free. A public service of this station and the Center for the Defense of Free Enterprise, Bellevue, Washington.
Besides, we just can't have people floating about unregulated, you know.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it! You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
Got Telegram? You can follow our channel there and discuss show prep with other listeners at telegram.freetalklive.com.
Yes, it is supposed to be She Talk Live, but somehow a he got in here, or an it, depending on how you want to classify
You got
me.
around the no boys allowed sign.
I did.
Probably because I let Ian in.
You know the sign that says, either men or women or question mark? Right? I picked all three doors is what happened. Door number 1, door number 2, or door number 3. I'm going in all of them.
Hey, you got to know what you like, right?
Yeah. I mean, when you got to go, you got to go. That's
Exactly.
all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. One bathroom is just as good as another if you got to relieve yourself of the
I go in the
pressures-
men's a lot.
The pressures of everyday life.
I go in the men's a lot too.
It's harder to clean the toilet up for the kid, though.
Do they want me to pee on the floor or do they want me to go in the men's room?
Exactly.
Well, who's they?
The people
gas
working there
station
that have the
workers?
door locked.
I mean, I worked in a restaurant as a busser for quite some time. And one of the busboy duties was to clean the bathrooms. And yeah, men are, filthy, dirty people. But oh my God, I was surprised at how filthy and dirty women were.
Yes,
I
they
hear
are.
that too. And you know what my theory about it is? Women are just like not going to touch anything. So if something falls, I'm not picking it up, type of like using napkins to pick everything up, barely touching like the toilet seat.
You guys have a thing that I've heard women call hovering.
Yep,
Squat.
hovering.
Hovering. I first learned this term at an outdoor concert. Where they had just porta potties. It was like one of these where you go see the concert and then you camp overnight, and they had porta potties every, 30 cars or something. And so in the morning, of course, when everybody wakes up all hungover from partying all night, it's kind of, there's lines to get into these porta potties. And of course, I saw the door open, like somebody was trying to go in, and there was a lady in there, and she had, her drawers down, and she was feet up on top of the
That is
thing
not
around
proper
the seat,
hovering.
literally like squatting and hovering over. But the porta potty itself had filled up so high
Ew.
from everybody using it that the pile was sort of sticking up
Ew.
like a mountain
Oh, that's
through
horrible.
the center of the toilet
I would pee
seat.
outside in the
And
field
so-
somewhere.
Yeah, I'd be like, okay, right here.
And
Anyway.
that's not proper hovering.
Anyway, this is Free Talk Live.
That's not She Talk Live.
Well, you're
Well,
she's.
I know,
and
I know.
We're talking and it's live,
Captain.
so it qualifies. The telephone number here is 603-283-6160. We have a call holding. We'll get to that in just a minute. In the studio, it's myself, the captain.
Angie.
And Bonnie.
And let's go to that call. It's Scott calling from Florida. Scott, you're on Free Talk Live.
Good evening, Captain Kickass, A&G, Bonnie. How are you?
Good. Thank you.
Good.
I'd like to talk about, have you been following, and maybe you've seen it on your podcast, there has been a surge in anti-Semitism across the United States. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, because people are like fighting, is it Israel versus Palestine? Which one's better when they're both states and they're probably both totally illegitimate?
Oh, that reminds me,
That's
Scott,
right.
let me run this by you. Somebody proposed a solution, and that is to take, who are the people that are trying to take the land?
Israel.
Israel, all right. To take them and move them into the United States and create a 51st state. And that way they could have their land and, just move everybody here, and then the other people could have their land over there, and that would solve the problem somehow. Scott, what do you think about that?
They are the 51st.
We already have, America's already a Jewish state. It's called the Zionist occupied government.
So shouldn't be a problem to move them over here then, right?
Yeah, she brought up that point. There's 6 million Jews in the United States. I'm Jewish, and the reason why I say this, and I'll tell you in a minute what my motive is.
Self-hatred?
You may say, well, there's 330 million Americans. What's the big deal? That's 2% of the population. And another person may say who's ignorant, what's that? That's nothing. That's a sliver. That's 2%.
He said the same. You said the same thing last week. The exact same thing.
Let me finish. So 2% controls everything. So to answer Captain Kickass's his suggestion, move the Jews over from Israel over here to create more control, more chaos. That would be absolutely horrific.
But Scott, we've been over this before, and you've said that, when we quiz you about it, that if it were not Jews, some other, either race or group of people who replaced that 2%, you'd be okay with that. Is that not correct?
Probably, yes.
Why is that? Why would you be okay with some other race or some other group of people being in control and telling you what to do with your life and how to live your life and controlling your money?
Maybe because I am truly anti-Semitic and I don't want the Jews to control what they control, that I resent. I'm being very frank here.
Yeah.
I resent that they control Wall Street. I resent that they control the media. I resent that they have a stranglehold on our foreign policy. I just resent their power. And the American people, to answer your question, Captain Kickass, I'll just be very frank about it. They're just too stupid to understand what's going on. And when I had a discussion with someone about this conversation, all they said to me, quote unquote, dude, you were an anti-Semite, you were a hater. And you know what I said to them? That is the easy way out. Just label, stigmatize me, put a label on it. Everyone's racist. I said, but that doesn't solve the problem.
But
and
you
the problem is,
you completely are contradicting yourself. You said if another group of people was the people in power, then you would have no problem with it. So you can't say that person was just taking the easy way out, calling you a hater, and really it's actually like, oh, they have all this power. If another group had the power, it would still be just as bad. And first of all, I don't agree with you about what you're saying. Let me clarify that. I don't agree that the Jews control Wall Street and Hollywood and all this stuff.
Well, who does then? Tell me who does.
Statists, people who believe in the state.
Yeah, I mean, they obviously use
of
the
all
state
colors
to their
and
advantage.
creeds.
In other words, the media. Let me explain. I want to hear what Bonnie has to say.
Okay.
The media. If the Jews do not control the media, like Bloomberg News, the New York Times, Hollywood, tell me, Bonnie, enlighten me. Who does control the media then?
I just told you, a whole bunch of people of all different colors and creeds.
No. Does that include Hollywood?
Yep.
I have news for you. You look at the names of Hollywood: Steven Spielberg, Jeffrey Katzenberg, David Geffen, and then of course Jack Warner, Warner Brothers, Samuel Goldwyn. They're not Irish. They're not Poles. They're Jews. They control Hollywood. They've hit us over the head what to think, what to say. The New York Times, the Sulzberger family, they have a caption, all the news is fit to print. I would change it to all the Jews that fit to print. No, the Jews control Hollywood. They control media, and they have a stranglehold on our country. And I deeply, deeply resent it.
All right. Thanks for the call, Scott. That is a man who is Jewish himself. So when he says that he hates the Jews, he's also saying that he hates himself.
And his parents. He probably just had bad parents.
I don't understand. Like, he can identify that people with power sort of ruin and control everything, but he's okay with people doing that as long as they're just not of this specific ethnicity.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
Specific religion. And no, you have to identify that it's the people having the power in the first place that cause the problems. It doesn't matter what your religion is, what your ethnicity is, what your color is, how many legs you have, how many arms you have, do you have one eye, do you have a lazy? It doesn't matter what group of people you belong to. It's the chair, the power is what the problem is.
His hate is the easy choice, by the way.
603-283-6160. More Free Talk Live is on the way.
Carl Watner, longtime proponent of a voluntary society, died last December. You may have seen his articles published on his website, voluntarist.com, in his newsletter, The Voluntarist, the Mises Institute, or elsewhere over the last 40 years. His newest book, I Must Speak Out, Volume 2, The Best of the Voluntarist, is now available via Liberty Under Attack Publications. This 430-page second volume spans the years of 2000 through 2020 and includes articles by Carl Watner, Watner, Hans Hermann Hoppe, Carl Hess, Benjamin Tucker, George H. Smith, Lysander Spooner, Pete Eyre, Joyce Brand, and many others. I Must Speak Out is for the newly initiated, the veteran voluntarist, or anywhere in between. Buy the book now at libertyunderattack.com/voluntarist. For more great content on building a voluntary society and for Carl's extensive archives, check out voluntarist.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com. I'm grateful to have heard from some of our satellite listeners recently. I appreciate knowing that people are out there who like what we do and are willing to support it financially. LRN.FM's free-to-air satellite feeds blanket most of 2 continents. It was my goal to put our channel there so people without internet could receive our programs and feed pirate radio stations. We started a fundraiser on Patreon a few years ago to back the satellite channels. I recently announced that I was considering canceling the feeds, and donations increased from 15 to 20% of our costs, which are around $1,000 per month. That's a good start, and to incentivize more contributions, the Shire Free Church will be matching every dollar. Can we reach $500 per month? With your help, we can. You can join our satellite fundraiser for just $2 a month at fund.lrn.fm. If we raise enough to keep both of the channels on the air, awesome. If we raise more, I'll add more channels. If not, we can shut them down and go internet only. It's up to you. Thank you for your support. fund.lrn.fm.
Do you appreciate what we do? Help us advertise, market, and promote for just $5 a month at amp.freetalklive.com.
Welcome back to Free Talk Live. We are the live call-in radio station where you can take control of the airwaves to talk about whatever's on your mind. In the studio tonight, it is myself, the Reverend Captain Kickass.
It's Angie.
And Bonnie.
We began to talk about this article from Intellectual Takeout about Moxie, a diminutive teal-colored robot, kind of looks like a Teletubby, which supposedly allows kids to engage in meaningful play every day with content informed by the best practices in child development and early childhood education.
They stole the name of the New England soda, too.
Moxie?
Yeah, it's a big thing up here. I see it. I sell it to people all the time at the store I work at.
I've never heard of it.
I thought it was a dog from a cartoon that like Disney made.
That kind of sounds familiar, too. But this stuff, it tastes like licorice, so I don't think you'd like it, Captain.
Black licorice?
Yeah.
Which is regular, like red licorice to some people isn't really licorice.
Yeah, to me either.
Yeah.
Do you like licorice?
Only the red one.
Only the red one.
I love black
But
licorice.
I will drink Jägermeister, which tastes like black licorice.
I thought that it did.
No,
yeah.
it totally does. But
like that too.
for whatever reason, I'm okay with that.
Well, it's got alcohol in it.
Have I mentioned that this is Free Talk Live? Did we go through this already?
Yeah, we did,
Okay,
and we
just
introduced
checking.
ourselves.
All right, because I missed it a couple
we're
of
back.
times, and I want to make sure that
Welcome to the show,
I cover
Captain.
my hostly duties. I'm not usually here on Wednesdays, so my circadian rhythms are all off. They're all out of whack.
We're glad to have you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, I really wish I could have gotten a wig, but
Next time, reach out to me.
There was one time when somebody, for whatever reason, I needed a costume for like a Halloween party, and all they had was like a large beard, and so I had the skullet, right? And it hooked over my ears, and so I just had long hair in the back, but the bald head on top.
We used the beard for a wig.
Yeah, yeah. So it was, no business in the front and party in the rear.
No business.
Yeah,
That was your
skullet.
costume?
That was my costume. Yeah, the skullet. Anyway, we're going to get back into this article in a little bit, but first, let's go to the phones. We have the Green Mountain Boys calling from Vermont. You're on Free Talk Live.
Oh, thank you for taking my call. So, hello, people. How you guys doing this evening? I probably should have said that before.
No, we're good. Go ahead.
All right, so I was listening to Scott the Bigot, and I don't agree with a lot of both of what his beliefs are, but I think he's kind of on something in terms of where he was going with his direction, but it's spread out much wider than just in Hollywood, and it's your municipal corporations. Every town, or pretty much every town across the United States, has a municipal corporation. And we're all under the thumb of these municipal corporations. And, there's people that run these municipal corporations that, they do whatever they want. They make changes and will allow fraud to go on. I mean, I think this is what they've been talking about in terms of the broken criminal justice system. And boy, does that really need to be talked about. And, and people, I think that they can't, I don't know if they don't get it or if they're stupid or whatever, but I think it's because, people are preoccupied. I mean, like they might have a family, or they're tending to a child, or they're shopping, or taking care of, they get preoccupied. And while they're getting preoccupied with all of this, the people that work at these municipal corporations are just screwing you.
Well, Green Mountain Boys, let me ask you a question. When you say municipal corporation, I get a thought in my head that screams something like the Parks Department or the Waterworks or
That's
the
a government
Sewer
department.
It is a government department, but they call themselves municipal
right
works, right?
Yep.
That kind
Right.
of thing. Is that what you mean by municipal corporation?
Well, I mean, because part of that is the police are also part of those municipal corporations,
Okay.
and
So by municipal corporation, you really mean monopoly on a service.
exactly,
Okay.
and until people, get in there and run for these positions and try to understand how they're running their communities and get out there and just see what's going on. And like I said, this isn't just in one town in Ohio or something like that. This is well across the United States, and a lot of people that work in these positions, they're part of families or part of a group or whatever, and it's hard to fight them.
Are you still saying that these municipal businesses are owned by Jews, or are you telling him that it's actually a different issue other than Jews?
No, it's not by any one person.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a group of people. It's not made up of Jews. It's not made up of Canadians or whatever. It's all corrupt people.
I believe that's what Bonnie said.
Yep.
She said it was a combination of, what was it that you said? Something about power and creed or something? Different colors and creed?
No, yeah, it's just people of all different colors and creeds who have gotten themselves into positions of power.
Yeah, well, and Green Mountain Boys is kind of coming around to that same point, I think, based on what he said so far, and that is to say that it doesn't matter what your religion is. It doesn't matter what color your skin is, how tall you are, how fat you are, how skinny you are, what size shoes you wear, what kind of car you drive. It's people are corrupt, and the corrupt people are attracted to positions of power where they can take control over other people. And thank you for the call tonight, Green Mountain Boys. We appreciate it. It's when they're attracted to these positions of power, they, of course, take control and manipulate people. Now, why don't we just not have these positions of power? What a good idea.
I think it's a great idea.
Let's get rid of these positions of power.
We need to get rid of the entire system of, well, the lots of different systems.
And then we
the
can have
monetary
people bid on different things, and then we could actually compete for jobs. And
what a good idea.
Wow, it's like a light bulb.
Yeah, ding. All right. So let's circle back to this article about the robots, because I don't know, man, something creepy about robots raising children in my book. Like, I mean, I feel like I have mixed feelings, but my gut feeling is no. Right? I'm like, no.
Well,
Robots should not
they
be
have
raising
toys
children.
that have things in them that interact with children,
Right.
and those are basically robots.
I had the speak and spell. Right, I used to spell all the bad words, and you would type in the correct letters for the F word, and you'd hit enter, and it would go try again.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, or you
That's
type in
funny.
like ASS, and it'd be like try again.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
that's so funny.
So
I had a leapfrog that taught me all the states, and I always knew all the states since I was 5 because of that.
I had to learn all of the states in alphabetical order.
I never did that. That's the cheater way.
But the way that I did it was through the majesty of song. The grade school music teacher taught us this song called 50 Nifty. Right, and it's 50 Nifty United States from the 13 original colonies. And then they sort of put all of the states to a musical passage, and so you could get through them all in alphabetical order. I won't do it here on air.
And music is your thing, so I'm sure you picked up on that super quick.
Well, it wasn't at the time, but looking back on it now, I'm like, that's why I could remember that.
Yeah,
because music eventually became my thing.
I never was taught. I guess I was taught all 50 states, but I remembered them for a test.
Yeah,
because I passed it, I'm sure.
But my geography is still kind of lame. There are certain states where you go, this I don't know, I can't.
New England is a little hard because they're all small and weird shaped, but I know all of the books of the New Testament because of a song.
Ooh, interesting.
But not the Old Testament. I only learned the New Testament.
Well,
I'll sing it off air.
So it's only classic testaments for you. Are you familiar with the heavy metal band called Testament? Do you know them?
Nope.
Damn it. 603-283-6160. Would you allow a robot to raise your children? More Free Talk Live on the way.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. Physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
There is no such thing as attention span, according to Jerry Seinfeld, who figures that people have an infinite attention span if you are entertaining them. Hey, he's kept us from channel surfing for several decades, and now he's making more millions as a Las Vegas headliner. With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important, especially if you're looking for work. So choose every single word as though it was the last word the person you're speaking to will hear. Otherwise, it might be. Avoid redundancies such as added bonus, advance warning, end result, prior history, or personal belongings. And avoid cliches like the plague. Just kidding. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and our main feed that includes everything. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Our Matrix server is about as free as internet chat can be. Join the existing rooms or create your own at chat.freetalklive.com.
Welcome back to the program. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. It is Free Talk Live, the Wednesday night edition, which is normally the She Talk Live edition, but, well, 2 out of 3 She Talkers are here.
So 2 girls and a guy.
We outnumber you. Haha.
Sounds kinky.
Oh my God.
If you would like to get your voice on the radio, you can dial 603-283-6160. Again, 603-283-6160. In the studio tonight, it's myself, the captain, and joining me,
Angie.
And Bonnie.
And we've been attempting to discuss this article from intellectualtakeout.org, where apparently there's a new robot in town. Meet Moxie, the new dystopian product from Embodied Incorporated. And Moxie is a robot that purportedly will teach your child stuff, to replace, say, teachers. Now, from a free market perspective, yes, let's get rid of public schooling.
Absolutely.
And let's let the market decide how the most effective methods and how to teach people, right? Because the old Prussian school method, which is what American schools are modeled after, that's where you get the rows from, and the teacher authoritarian standing up front and with the stick and all that kind of stuff. That's where that comes from. And the Prussian education system was designed specifically to train obedient workers to do just the tasks of the factories.
Get inside your box.
Right.
That's
Get inside
exactly
your
what it
box,
is, yeah.
pull the levers, move the machine, whatever it is, whatever little piece of work that you had to do to make the larger machine go. That's what it was designed to do. So it was not designed to foster thinking.
Oh, I know.
To foster logic or creativity. It was not designed to have a child who gravitates naturally towards a subject, to allow them to explore that subject and then learn all of the other subjects as a result of whatever they were curious in. It's not designed for any of that. So, in a way, this is a free market solution to public schools. I just think that my gut reaction is part of my indoctrination because I also went to public schools.
Yeah. Does it have a camera?
I imagine it does. Let's find out. Kids are assigned missions covering social, emotional, and conversational skills while also being taught friendship and problem solving. Parents are able to monitor their kids via an app on their phone. Of course they are. And schedule key events such as the first day of school. So they want you to go to school when you have a robot to teach you? That's weird. Dentist visits and it's, things like that. In essence, many of the normal tasks of raising kids are delegated to a robot who will teach them without breathing exercises and meditation. Who will teach them breathing exercises and meditation and allow kids to talk about their problems without fear of judgment. So I take that back. After reading this paragraph, this isn't going to replace public schooling. This is going to replace parenting.
Yeah, that's what it says. Let a robot parent your kid.
What's weird about it is, don't you want your own personal ideas enforced in these specific things, like even just friendship? Like some people are going to teach their kids about friendship different than other people will.
I'd be curious to know how this robot is going to respond to a child who is nasty or not professional, not polite to it. Like, what does it do or say?
The one that kicks it in the face and knocks it over.
Yeah,
right?
like my little girl, she didn't want somebody. There's a kid over, and she was like, she's too little to get on the trampoline, and so she pushed her off.
Yeah.
What happens if my kid does that to the robot? What's it going to do?
Right. Is the robot armed?
Exactly.
Is it prepared to defend
Is there a camera
itself?
that's going to send me an app that says, "Oh, look what she did to me"?
Yeah. How low have American parents sunk that they would rather shell out $1,500 for a robot and $60 a month for its services? Because apparently there's, of course, a monthly recurring charge associated, instead of actually parenting their children that they brought into the world. In a time where more than 1 in 4 children already live without a father in the home, pushing parental responsibilities onto a hunk of plastic and computer coding verges on abusive. Topics such as emotional intelligence and dealing with life's problems are ones that cannot and should not be handled by computers. Now, before I go on, I'm a practical application person, right? If somebody comes up with a new idea and I don't understand it, I go, okay, well, show me the practical application. How can I use it in everyday life? What problem in my particular life, relate it to me, relate it to a mundane task that like everybody knows universally. The only practical application that I could come up with so far after having read this is what they call intergenerational space travel. Right? So
you're going to have to define that for me.
So it takes a long time to go from planet Earth to another galaxy.
Okay.
And so because it takes so long, the only feasible way that humans can travel that far would be if a crew went up into a space capsule, they procreated, they died, and then their children carried out the rest of the mission.
Okay.
Okay. So this is multi-generational space travel, right? So, a group of 10 people go up. They all procreate in one way or another. They replace themselves by having 10 children. The original 10 die, and then they, somehow train these 10 children on how to complete the mission, right? They raise them to be. This is an application that I could see doing that. If something weird goes on and all the original 10 die for some reason or whatever, and the kids are left alive, this could come in handy as a way to make that go. That's the only practical application I could think of.
Then you get a bunch of sociopaths going to another galaxy.
Well, yeah, or you get something like, what is it? What's the movie where it's the kids stuck on the island? They got the conch.
The Lord of the Flies.
Lord of the Flies in space.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
All right, yeah, so, that's...
Lord of the Spies on ice in space.
Lord of the Flies on ice. Nice, Bonnie. Well done. So in the advertisement for this, a child, Riley, reads stories to Moxie, completes missions such as drawing and writing notes, and most terrifyingly, talks to the robot about an argument with a friend, a visit to the dentist, and holds Moxie's hand when the robot proffers it.
You just have no interest in parents like having kids if you want this robot. It seems like to me, because whenever I think about like the pros and cons of having kids, one thing that sounds nice is like I would train. Well, something that pops in my head sometimes is like I would train my kid like this or that about being a friend. That's kind of what jumps out to me.
Angie, you were like, "Hey, bring it on! I got kids." Like,
I do have kids, and
I don't have kids.
I was asking, if we could program them to teach them the things that I believe in, because the way that most statists or most parents teach their children or program their children is completely different than me. I probably talk to my children completely different than anyone else talks to their kids.
Sure.
And so to put something in front of my children like this, the first thing that my middle child's going to do is like, how can I turn this thing off? Or can I reprogram it? Like, he's going to go in and try to figure something out. And the next thing I know, I'm going to have this little cussing robot that's running around my house teaching my 3-year-old.
Or the older one's going to program it to punch the little one.
There's going to be battles. They're going to be throwing words.
I just had a horrible thought while Bonnie was talking, and I wanted to get your thoughts on the matter before I revealed this horrible thought. I spent a little bit of time in foster care.
Okay.
This robot
could have been your friend.
Being acquired by statists and implemented in foster homes, juvenile detention centers.
That's a really that's a thought.
Orphanages, right? That kind of thing. Being programmed with the statists, whatever, propaganda. That's a horrible thought.
I wonder if they're going to start handing things out from like your social services offices. Like they're going to give these out with your food stamps. Here, have this bear.
Or what if when somebody anonymously calls Child Protection Services on a parent because they don't like their kids next door or something, and then CPS comes out and they go, well, we didn't find any evidence of you doing anything wrong to your children, but the state requires us to place one of these parental robots in your home now.
That's it. And then maybe they have a microphone and a camera and they can see exactly how your child is and they can see what you do and say to your child.
Well, they do because it already connects to an app on your phone.
Perfect.
So it shouldn't be a problem.
Really, this isn't much different than something we already have, which is kids' television. It does teach your kids.
And that is a babysitter. That is right. Yeah.
That's a babysitter.
Well, I was raised by the television, although I knew how to change the channel.
Did you have to get up or did you have a remote?
Oh, no, I was the remote.
See.
Yeah, before I'm older than remote controls on a television.
Can you change the channel?
Oh, yeah, we'd be sitting around, if there were parental units around. Hey, get up and change it to channel 8.
Hey, get my cigarettes.
Yeah. 603-283-6160. Can you see these robots proliferating your child's lives? More Free Talk Live is on the way.
A newly recruited search and rescue officer, Marshall Hunter was resigned to a life of rescuing wayward spacefarers and derelict satellites. But when a billionaire couple goes missing, his own ship is disabled during the rescue. With communication satellites suddenly failing and lunar mineral shipments disappearing in transit, the crew suspects it's more than a coincidence, and Hunter must choose between salvation and sacrifice to save his crewmates and their civilian charges. Frontier by Patrick Childs and BingBooks.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
Breaking weather news. Belize is sunny and around 82 degrees every day this week.
What's the forecast for your life? If current politics and economic prospects are cramping your freedom, escape to the tropics. ECI Development has affordable second homes for you to own or rent in Belize and other tropical countries. Places with stable governments and growing economies. Secure your freedom now. To find out more, send an email to ftl@ecidevelopment.com.
What if you want to hear the latest episode of Free Talk Live, but all you have is your phone? you forgot to download our archive, and you have no data connection, you can call our Listen line at 641-793-0191. That's a long-distance number, so you may incur charges. If not, listen as long as you want. 641-793-0191. The Free Talk Live Listen line, 641-793-0191.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Looking for answers. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. 8 workers at the Valley Transportation Authority light rail yard in San Jose, California were killed when police say a fellow employee opened fire at the facility early this morning, then turned the gun on himself.
I know for sure that when the suspect knew the law enforcement was there, he took his own life. Our deputies were right there at that time.
Santa Clara County Sheriff Lori Smith, the suspect has been identified as 57-year-old Sam Cassidy. Governor Gavin Newsom expressing frustration over continued gun violence.
Feels like this happens over and over and over again. Rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat.
Police are also combing through the suspect's home, which caught fire shortly after the shooting. President Biden issued a statement on the shooting, reading in part, "Once again, I urge Congress to take immediate action and to heed the call of the American people to help end the epidemic of gun violence in America." The latest Fox News poll gives President Biden high marks for domestic issues with lower marks for foreign policy.
The latest Fox News poll found President Biden has a 54% approval rating, with 64% approving his handling of COVID. His lowest marks came on his handling of the border, immigration, and foreign policy. And on that front, more Americans support Israel than Palestinians. 59% said they signed with Israel, 24% signed with Palestinians. Now, on the question of whether or not President Biden is too liberal, 46% said he is, 40% said he's about right.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. Another noose has been found at the construction site of an Amazon warehouse outside Hartford, Connecticut. The number of nooses found at the site is now 8. The FBI has been investigating. The Connecticut NAACP president says it was found this morning despite additional security measures that were added last weekend after the 7th noose was found. America is listening to Fox News.
You're still running your business on QuickBooks? More like quicksand. The bigger your company grows, the faster you sync with outdated software. NetSuite by Oracle is the scalable solution to run all key back-office operations, no matter how big your company grows. 93% of surveyed organizations increased visibility and control since making the switch from QuickBooks to NetSuite. Right now, NetSuite is offering a one-of-a-kind financing program. Head to netsuite.com/Fox. That's special financing at netsuite.com/Fox, netsuite.com/Fox.
The former president of Penn State University is ordered to report to jail over his handling of a child sex abuse report.
Graham Spanier was forced out as Penn State president after assistant football coach Jerry Sandusky's arrest 10 years ago. Sandusky was eventually convicted of sexually abusing 10 boys over a 15-year period. In 2001, a graduate assistant reported seeing Sandusky showering alone with a teenage boy. Spanier did not report it to the police and says the incident was characterized to him as horseplay. He was convicted 4 years ago of endangering the welfare of children, a misdemeanor. Appeals have kept him out of jail, but now a judge rules he must serve 2 months starting July 9th and then another 2 months on house arrest. Chris Foster, Fox News.
The future of a Christopher Columbus statue is determined in a city in Southern California.
The 4-1 vote by the Chula Vista City Council permanently removes the statue, but not before a passionate debate from the public.
We hope you will be able to correct history that has wronged so many of our communities.
I know that a lot of people here talk about, how horrible the guy is, but we're very proud of him.
It's not just the statue that's on its way out. A multicultural task force will come up with a new name for Discovery Park and figure out the new artwork that will honor diversity. Mayor Casillas Salas also named October 12th Indigenous Peoples Day, while both the Knights of Columbus and the Sons and Daughters of Italy want that day to be renamed Italian Heritage Day as well.
Let's stand together as one community.
CJ Papa, Fox News.
Amazon has announced it's buying MGM Studios for $8.45 billion, giving it
Free Talk Live.
You know, and this is a realistic view. Look, your kids are going to do drugs. Would you rather them do drugs with pimply-faced kids driving around town? Or would you rather them smoke pot in your house where you know what they're doing? I'm not saying I love the idea of my little boy who's 3 growing up and smoking pot. I don't. I would prefer he didn't. But I know that the human animal, as it is, likes to have its mind altered. And he's my son. He's probably going to do these things. And I'll tell you, I was in a lot of dangerous situations that if my parents had tried something different, maybe things would have worked out differently. I don't know. I'm not blaming them or anything like that. I'm just saying that we need to try new things. This war on drugs, not working.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern. Live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Researchers at Princeton University's Department of Sociology have made a major leap in our understanding of social interaction.
We conducted trials in 90 supermarkets across the country and found that essentially 100% of people disapproved of having a stranger hit them across the face and then expose their genitalia right in the middle of the supermarket, which we found very interesting.
Researchers observed similar reactions when the subject hurled shopping carts toward unsuspecting shoppers, stood in the deli section rubbing cold cuts against his chest, or got right near cashier's ears and began loudly singing Yankee Doodle.
In this particular trial, we had our subject, Kevin, take off his shirt, tape a banana to his forehead, and charge at various shoppers like he was a rhino. Within 20 minutes, store owners called the police and he was arrested, allowing us to come to the conclusion that this type of behavior is still considered at least somewhat taboo.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Kicking off hour number 2 of Free Talk Live. We are a live radio call-in talk program where you can take control of the airwaves to talk about whatever's on your mind. Our telephone number here is 603-283-6160. Again, 603-283-6160. In the studio tonight, it's myself, the captain.
Angie.
And Bonnie.
On March 16th of 2021, terrorists, calling themselves government agencies, conspired together and raided the Free Talk Live studio, the Bitcoin Embassy, the homes of Aria DiMezzo, the homes of Renee and Andy Spinella, and the home of Colleen Fordham. 6 people were arrested. We call these people the Crypto Six. They were then held hostage. 4 of them were released. Ian Freeman was held for approximately 69 days, and the person named Nobody, formerly Rich Paul, remains in custody. What can you do to help? Well, the first thing you do is go to thecrypto6.com. There's a bunch of information there. There's links to several things. There's a video up there, and there's also multiple ways in which you can donate to their legal defense fund, because the charges these people face are not a joke. It's going to take some serious legal firepower and many experts to protect the Crypto Six from further aggression from the state. This case is very likely to set precedent that will affect the world of cryptocurrency for decades to come. You can help them in their fight for liberty and financial freedom by visiting thecrypto6.com. Again, thecrypto6.com. All right, we've been talking about this robot called Moxie. And apparently Moxie sort of disguises itself as an educational robot, but it's really a parental replacement robot. It's my opinion that parents already don't parent their kids enough.
Parents don't want to parent.
In general, correct. And so, they sit them in front of the TV, or they give them a phone with a bunch of games on it, or a video game system, or all of the above. And what is this going to do? What is this going to add to it? Will this robot also play video games with your kid?
I don't know. That's a good question. Can you program it to play video games?
Well,
it doesn't have thumbs.
Before there was even tablets and everything, parents were already passing on the responsibility of education to public schools.
Right.
And when I was a little kid, I was homeschooled kindergarten to 3rd grade. Then I did 3rd grade again in public school. And there was one other kid in my class who was also homeschooled his whole life until that year. Mm-hmm. And we were the 2 geniuses. The teacher was always saying we were the smartest. Everybody was always like, Bonnie and Jason, they're so smart. And I was always thinking to myself, like, is it because we were the only homeschooled ones?
That's exactly what it was. I remember in high school when I went to 9th grade, there was like 4 homeschool kids that came into the school that had not been, and they were wicked smart, and like they're really doing well in life. I connect with them on Facebook, and we're friends, and I can't imagine what they would have done had they not come to a public school, because they were held back because they knew everything that the teachers were teaching, and they were just bored.
I don't actually think I'm a genius. It was just, that's how they were acting. They were,
No, I got that a lot growing up because I was the only one in my family, my extended family even, that could figure out how to keep the VCR from flashing 12.
My dad always was like, you're going to be able to do some kind of job with computers when you grew up. Because, I could like next install.
Yeah.
Like,
all I did was I was like, where's the box that this came in? Oh, it's in the garage. Okay. And you go to the garage and you open the box, and inside the box
there's instructions.
Is this thing called a manual. And if you just read it and followed the steps, you would also be a genius.
Sometimes it's kind of hard to do that, especially if you are a male.
There's a phrase in the telephony industry as well as the computer industry overall. It's called RTFM. It's an acronym, obviously.
Yeah.
It stands. There's a book that's actually called Telephony Definitions, and it lists RTFM, and it says, "Read the fantastic manual." And in the definition, it says, although the word fantastic is generally substituted with a different word.
Yes.
So that's the actual definition. Read the fantastic manual.
I love it.
Yeah. So you too can be a genius if you just read the fantastic manual.
Hey, YouTube has fixed a lot of weed whackers and lawnmowers at my house.
YouTube, I don't like now. I liked it back before it was purchased by the entity that now owns it. It rhymes with oogle. But even in the state that YouTube is currently in, and I don't mean the state as in like, Alabama, Alaska, Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
I mean like the current ownership and how it's sort of leading cancel culture and deplatforming people and all that fun stuff. Even in its current status, YouTube has all of the information that you would want to teach children in
Absolutely.
K through 12.
Mm-hmm.
All of it.
Yep.
Science, math, home economics, shop class, mechanics, right? All things computers. You want to get your child involved in IT early on? YouTube's got videos on how to do it and how to educate. And so in my mind, the advent of not only just YouTube, but the internet, because if there's anything you want to find out, particularly that's contained within a syllabus for a public school, you can find that information on the internet, right? So the internet, and largely YouTube, has made public schooling obsolete.
Yeah, but the problem with that is that if you're online and you're trying to figure something out, then you start going down the rabbit hole somewhere. There's an advertisement or there's a link and you click on something else and then you're like, oh, wait. And then you click on something else. And so you're 2 hours into clicks before you're like, wait, what was I doing? What was I trying to figure out?
What have you learned in that time?
Nothing, because it's garbage that you're clicking on.
You've learned a whole bunch of stuff.
I never make it to exactly what I want quickly because I'm like, oh, squirrel. And there I go.
I feel kind of the same way because Ian can just be like, well, let's find out and use Google. And I'm just like, if I touch my phone, I'm going to end up on Instagram.
It's a trap.
Your Google foo is very weak.
Google foo?
Google foo. That's like kung fu.
Yeah.
Except
Google foo.
Yeah, my Google foo is pretty weak, I guess.
The secrets are keywords, right? So what is the thing you're trying to look up?
Oh, I know how to Google things.
Right.
I mean, thanks for the instructions, Captain.
I got you. I'm here to mansplain for you.
Yes, I appreciate it.
Can't mansplain on She Talk Live.
That's great.
How to Google.
Let's write that one down, mansplain.
Anyway, what were you saying?
I don't remember.
Oh, did I interrupt you?
Yeah, I know.
Nice.
You completely, my thought escaped me.
I'm sorry, ma'am. Would you mind stepping out of your train of thought? You were wandering all over the avenue of consideration.
Thanks for bringing me back, dude.
Can I see your degree, please?
No, you're a man.
Take it out of the frame. All right. So children don't need to be able to talk. about their day without fear of judgment. They need to learn how to make proper judgments. Talking about Moxie again, this article is. They need to be instructed when something they did was wrong, when they need to stand up for themselves, and how they can better handle situations going forward. That is not something that a robot can do, and even if it could, it's not the purview of technology companies to teach our children how to handle such situations. People reach adulthood and maturity by learning from others and learning from their own mistakes. If kids cannot engage with their parents, they will not grow into the functioning adults that society needs. While much has been made of the problems of helicopter parents, Moxie is a step too far in the opposite direction. Not so much a step, in fact, as the experience of hitting the accelerator instead of the brake at a crucial time. Moxie's team boasts of being composed of experts, including engineers, roboticists, neuroscientists, child development specialists, and creative storytellers. Mad scientists, all of them, according to this article. I mean, it does seem like, it's almost like you're putting Frankenstein,
I don't know. If Moxie's not going to call my kid an a-hole when he's being an a-hole, it's not going to work.
Do children need to be called a-holes?
You know what? Sometimes they do if they're being that way.
I can't really disagree with you, although I might not choose that particular verbiage. I might choose some other thing that means the same thing. But,
when you're around my kids that much, you might.
You consider your kids free range, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
yes.
That's why I love them. More Free Talk Live is on the way.
Tired of cancel culture? Sick of mega tech corporations holding an axe over your head? Join the LRN.FM Matrix chat server. It's self-hosted, so no one else can tell us what to do or say. Don't like the existing channels? You can make your own. You can even connect into some of our channels from other Matrix servers. It's federated. For the full LRN.FM Matrix experience, though, you should join our server via the step-by-step instructions at chat.lrn.fm. Chat.lrn.fm.
Do you feel like your nation, state, or community no longer holds your values? Have you dreamt of a place where people agree that liberty is important and are free to pursue their projects so long as they respect the property of others? There are many people just like you that are discovering freeprivatecities.com. Their social media links are at the upper right of the page at freeprivatecities.com. All skill levels will be needed when the first of the Free Private Cities opens. It's sooner than you think. Stop arguing and build. freeprivatecities.com.
The Terran Federation and the Terran League have been killing each other for decades. Sheltered, wealthy, and light years from the threat, the members of the 500 have no interest in changing that. When Rear Admiral Terrence Murphy is given governorship of a backwater system, a risk-free path to wealth and power is his for the taking. But Murphy is a man of honor, duty, and responsibility. He intends to stop the killing, whatever the cost. Governor, by David Weber and Richard Fox, from BaneBooks.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless free market non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
How many lawyers does it take to change a light bulb? None. They'd rather keep their clients in the dark. There are too many lawyer jokes to count. However, there are some lawyers with more noble intentions. At the Institute for Justice, we bring the light to our clients. We are a non-profit public interest law firm with clear values and principles. At IJ, we fight for those whose most basic rights are denied by the government. Visit our website today at ij.org.
You can stick it to the man and big tech. Join our FTL social mastodon at social.freetalklive.com.
Yes, come on and listen to Free Talk Live. Yeah, tune in 7 nights a week from 7 p.m. until 10 p.m. Eastern Time. If you're not in the Eastern Time Zone, well, do some math.
I used to think that, and I think I've said it on the air before, but before I ever met you guys and I would listen to the show, I used to think that Ian recorded that, yeah, and the haha, because it kind of sounds like him and it still sounds like him to me.
Nice.
But no, it's not him.
Nice. You're in a record and you don't even know it.
No, they just copied his voice.
Oh, I see. Maybe they sampled him and then put it in their record.
They sampled Free Talk Live.
I mean, it's been around long enough. This is Free Talk Live. Thanks for pointing that out, Bonnie. I don't think I've mentioned that since we've come back. Have I?
Yeah. No, I don't know. No, you haven't. I was reading the comment when a dumb woman can't understand something and a man tells her they always say mansplain.
Oh, that's
So
what it
lame.
means. I'm just kidding.
I couldn't help it. I just thought, wait, when a dumb woman, I was like, I have to read that.
Yeah. I've been trying to read some of these on the air. Like some of them you just can't.
They just always call me clueless and dumb. Well, I don't know about in that particular one, but in comments I've seen on Twitter and stuff, she's only on there because she's Ian's
Apparently,
girlfriend.
somebody says she has the best boyfriend in the world, referring to you, Bonnie.
Yay, I do.
Yeah, I saw one said, oh my God, Ian is so handsome.
Ian is so handsome. I cut his hair, but I did a really bad job.
And it
but-
says, now I see why Aria isn't here. Lame. Okay, well, you're welcome to your opinion.
They either love or hate Aria on there. A lot of them really love her.
Thank you for, no, that's an advertisement. Yeah, I think you guys got the gist of it.
Yes, okay.
You may have skills in Google Foo, but have you mastered the art of Taekwon DuckDuckGo?
That was great.
Yes, actually. Although every now and again, because DuckDuckGo works slightly differently.
It does.
I have to refer back to the one that shall not be named.
Yeah, me too.
The
all the
search
time.
engine of most popularity.
Because I'm just used to it.
Maybe I'm not good with keywords on DuckDuckGo.
I have not yet mastered the art of Taekwon DuckDuckGo. It is true.
Yeah, back before Google was the number one biggest one, my parents would always have the homepage on our desktops that's Yahoo or something. And I'd always switch it to Google. I'd be like, this is the best one. And it turns out it's the best one. So
Yeah.
spies on you.
I'm older than Google.
I think I'm older than Google.
So before
I think I am
Google,
too.
there were interesting named search engines like Ask Jeeves.
I remember that.
I don't remember that.
Oh, that tells our age.
Yes.
I'm 29.
GeoCities was another one.
I don't know that one.
You're 29?
Yeah, I'm 29 and holding.
Captain just turned 29 today.
Happy
birthday!
Yes,
Woohoo!
thank
Should we sing to him?
No, please
Happy
don't.
birthday
No.
to
Oh my God.
you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday,
Don't
dear
make me pull the studio
Captain.
over.
Happy birthday to
To you.
Woohoo!
If I wanted that kind of treatment, I'd have gone to Applebee's.
Encore.
I specifically avoid going to chain restaurants on my birthday because the last thing I want
is
for them to do that.
The next time we go
Just
to a
what you
restaurant with
guys
Captain, I don't care if it's his birthday or not.
You're just
They're
gonna
singing.
tell him, you're
Look,
like,
it's his birthday.
It's his birthday, by the way.
Well, we did skip that today, so
Thanks, Angie.
we'll do
You're
a redo.
welcome.
We're going to switch topics here because, well, I think you all have heard enough about the parental robots to make up your mind about whether or not you
I'm
would use
ordering
them.
a few.
This one struck me as funny, odd, funny, strange, funny, haha, probably a little of both. This is from mlive.com. Flint's Old Police Academy, I believe Michigan. Flint's Old Police Academy sold for marijuana grow facility, despite objections.
Flint's old what?
Police
Police
Academy. Sold for marijuana grow facility.
And it's Flint, Michigan?
I believe so.
Hmm.
Flint, Michigan. Yep, that says so right here.
Hmm.
Flint, Michigan. The city has agreed to sell its shuttered Flint Police Training Academy for $500,000 to a company that plans to convert it into a commercial marijuana grow facility.
I absolutely love that.
You'll love this too.
Well, it's haunted.
A divided Flint City Council approved the sale of 3420 St. John Street.
Oh my God.
That's right,
great.
3420 St. John Street in a 5-4 vote Monday, May 25th, despite protests that the property, which is zoned to allow a grow operation, wasn't properly advertised for sale. A claim the city's Department of Planning and Development denied. Now, we know that city governments, state governments frequently don't advertise their properties for sale properly because they want to make sure that their buddies, the people who contribute to their campaign funds, get first dibs on buying these properties. So
Of course.
I have no problem with the sale. None.
I think it's great.
I have a problem with it. It's haunted. You can't you can't grow marijuana there. You're going to be growing haunted marijuana.
You think it'll have the smell of pig on it?
Yeah, it's going to smell like like bacon.
Wonder if it'll taste like bacon.
Oh my God.
Yeah, if somebody were smoking a bacon marijuana cigarette.
There's bacon, and then there's coffee, and there's donut flavor.
They would all
Right?
sell too. They'd sell really well.
I think I would probably buy a house on an old Indian burial ground before I bought an old police station to live in. So
Yeah, because at least the Native Americans would have been more in tune with nature and life and philosophy and things of that nature, and more,
they just were more civilized.
Yeah. Speaking of which, you guys know that police are paid by money which is first stolen or extorted from everybody else. And in that respect, they already live off the public dime.
Right.
Why on earth do people give them free coffee and donuts?
Because they want them to like them. They want to think that they're doing something noble, credible.
Like if it were a straight up mafia situation, right? Where Anthony and Guido came into your neighborhood store and were like, "Hey, you got to pay the tax," right? And so you did.
Taxation is theft.
And they were like, because we're going to protect you, right? And you were like, okay. When they come back, does the store owner offer them free coffee and donuts?
Well, they get whatever they want because that's what they do. They take it.
Right, but they take it. The cops aren't walking into like the regular convenience store and just taking donuts and coffee. They're offered them by the purveyors of the convenience store.
For free. Here, you can have this donut because they want to, I don't know. But because they think that they're doing something good. They've been brainwashed into thinking that these people are protecting and serving them and that they're making things better. And so they feel that if they give them coffee and they give them donuts, that they're going to be helping the people that are helping them. They have no idea that this is an organized crime, a mafia situation, and that these people are just taking from them and stealing their money.
Because they went to public school and they can't think critically about what's happening to them.
That
organized gang.
Yes. Indeed. We're getting to the heart of it. 603-283-6160. Free Talk Live. More coming up.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com. I'm grateful to have heard from some of our satellite listeners recently. I appreciate knowing that people are out there who like what we do and are willing to support it financially. LRN.FM's free-to-air satellite feeds blanket most of 2 continents. It was my goal to put our channel there so people without internet could receive our programs and feed pirate radio stations. We started a fundraiser on Patreon a few years ago to back the satellite channels. I recently announced that I was considering canceling the feeds, and donations increased from 15 to 20% of our costs, which are around $1,000 per month. That's a good start, and to incentivize more contributions, the Shire Free Church will be matching every dollar. Can we reach $500 per month? With your help, we can. You can join our satellite fundraiser for just $2 a month at fund.lrn.fm. If we raise enough to keep both of the channels on the air, awesome. If we raise more, I'll add more channels. If not, we can shut them down and go internet only. It's up to you. Thank you for your support. fund.lrn.fm.
Don't miss a moment of Free Talk Live. Get our archives daily via our podcast at feeds.freetalklive.com.
That's right. It's the torture of the cats.
It just made me remember I miss your guitar playing.
I miss my guitar playing, too. It's been far too long since I did anything musical, really.
Can you play, well, this is probably a dumb question. Do you like to play acoustic guitar?
Nope.
Well, can you?
Nope. I can kind of play an acoustic guitar, but I that was not how I learned. I learned on electric, and so I gravitate towards electric.
Well,
I'm much better at electric guitar than I am at acoustic guitar by orders of magnitude.
the reason I said this is probably a dumb question was I assumed that you play them the same way.
There are no dumb questions, only dumb answers and dumbasses. Yes, it is Free Talk Live, in case you're wondering what the heck you're listening to. We are a live call-in radio talk program, broadcast nationwide on hundreds of radio stations, the internet globally, and a couple of satellite stations. If you want to get your voice on the air, talk about whatever's on your mind, you can dial 603-283-6160. Again, 603-283-6160. In the studio tonight, it's myself, the captain.
Angie.
And Bonnie.
So we've moved on to this subject where a building in Flint, Michigan, that used to be an old police academy, was sold for $500,000 to somebody who's going to turn it into a marijuana grow facility commercially. And I think that's great. In fact, they talk about defund the police and all that kind of thing. They should just turn all of the police stations into commercial marijuana grow facilities.
I love that idea.
Because that will bring far more peace to the world, I think, than police do, in my opinion. No?
I think it's a good idea.
Bonnie?
I don't know that they would let us, though.
I think it would have a lot more people being creative.
Like
making music.
Imagine if in Minneapolis, when they burned the police station, right? Imagine if instead of burning it, they broke into it, took everything out, and turned it into a commercial marijuana grow up.
They could burn it and then erect a new building so that way it's less haunted.
Okay. But then they could, grow the marijuana, which they would probably roll into marijuana cigarettes and then burn those.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah, like sage. They could sage the place out. Oh, you know what? I bet that's what they're doing in the Flint one.
Perhaps they are. This was absolutely fair and open bidding, and $500,000 can do a lot for our city's general fund, Council President Kate Fields said. Fields, Santonio Guerrera, Herbert Winfrey, Alan Grigg, a bunch of people all voted against the sale. But after the vote, Mays asked city attorneys for a legal opinion about whether the sale to Evergrow LLC followed the proper procedures for the disposal of city-owned property. That's how they refer to getting rid of property that the city owns. Disposal.
The disposal service comes and...
Yeah, like it's waste. They're like, oh, we don't need this anymore. We'll just throw it out. I just ain't cool with this process, he said, questioning why the sale wasn't handled by the city's purchasing department and why it wasn't advertised more broadly than the city's website. Winfrey Carter also questioned the sale, saying the city should have listed the property for sale more than 7 days and on multiple platforms. There has been some backdoor deals made, she alleged Monday. Flint.
There are always backdoor deals made when it comes to the government.
Yeah, dear Flint, why don't you take the $500,000, fix your water? How about that?
Yeah.
How about that? Put it towards fixing the water. But I'm not bitter. They handle everything else so well. Let's leave it to the government to handle this sale. Right. Well, and if I intend to list something for sale on multiple platforms online, but by the time I only list on one, if somebody calls and says I want to buy it, I'm going to sell it to them because now I don't have to waste my time listing it on multiple platforms.
Yeah, and if it went under contract, there's no reason to list it and pay to have it put anywhere else.
Right. The Department of Planning and Development officials have said they were approached by Evergrow to buy the 4.4-acre parcel, listed the property for sale in 7 days, received 2 bids, $500,000 from Evergrow and $20,000 from another group represented by Flint attorney Brenda Williams. So the city attorney knew that it was for sale and found a potential buyer who offered a minuscule amount of money compared to the marijuana grow operation.
I'd be curious to know who the $20,000 bid came from.
Yeah, it sounds like they were like, oh, this is the city. I can pay very, very little for this building, and they're going to give it to me.
If the sale of the property is completed, Evergrow will also need a state license to grow the marijuana. Flint Planning Commission approval for a site plan, and they must have its building plans approved by the city. It would also be required to file for all needed permits, pay fees, pass inspections, and receive a certificate of occupancy, city officials have said. Now, let's just break that down for a minute. They're going to need a state license, right?
Is it legal in Michigan?
If you have a state license.
No. Is marijuana legal in Michigan?
At least medical.
Okay.
Is it?
It is. Okay.
Ian says it is legal. So recreational apparently is legal in Michigan. So you're going to need a state license. So that's cash. You're going to need approval for the site plan. That's going to cost you some money. You're going to have to have your building plans approved by the city. That's going to cost you money or time or both. It's going to be required to file for all needed permits. Doesn't say how many permits they'll need. It just says all needed permits. That's going to cost money. Pay fees, more money. Pass inspections, more money. And receive a certificate of occupancy, more money.
Sounds efficient.
Frank Salaku, the managing partner for Evergrow, has said he's interested in starting construction at the property as soon as possible and intends the overwhelming majority of 15 to 20 employees there to be hired from Flint. Williams said she represents a client who made the $20,000 bid, the lower bid, after expressing interest in purchasing it from the city several years ago. At the time, she said, city officials indicated they could not sell the property without listing it for sale. Well,
so it sounds like she's been trying to do a backdoor thing this whole time. And is she the one complaining that somebody else got it? What the heck?
Yeah. She didn't get it for $20,000. She's complaining that somebody bought it for $500,000.
They only paid $480,000 more.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they did list it. So she's saying
for 7 days.
Yeah. So
and they got their bid in.
And they did get their bid in.
This is so stupid. This is what statists believe in, that they should have some kind of privilege to do things just because no reason.
Yes, the stupid, it burns. Williams said her client was also interested in establishing a marijuana grow facility at the property, adding the property would have been the first marijuana facility of a substantial nature to be owned by a local person of color in the city of Flint. So now it's racist.
Wow.
Not only does she not get it for $20,000 and somebody else gave $480,000 more, but now it's racist.
You know what? They picked that $500,000 bid because the guy was white. I'm certain of it.
I mean, why else? I mean, wouldn't you?
Yeah, of course.
We're being sarcastic, listeners.
I hope they know that.
There's no emoji for sarcasm on the radio. You just have to either sound it
we could
or not.
hold up a picture.
Yeah, it still doesn't translate to those who are just listening. Michigan, like other states, has struggled to incorporate black and brown entrepreneurs into its recreational market since it kicked off in December 2019, nor in the medical market, which started in 2016. Okay, so they did have medical at first, and then recreational started in 2019. Based on a December survey conducted by the State Marijuana Regulatory Agency, or, there's not a good acronym there, about 3.8% of existing licensed recreational cannabis businesses have a black ownership stake, and 1.5% have Hispanic ownership. Okay, so, they're turning this into it's racist somehow for somebody to outbid another person for a property. 603-283-6160. Is purchasing property, is the race of somebody important when making a bid, particularly on city property? Give us a call. Let us know.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
I'm crazy about My Magic Mud. This is the most important oral care product created this millennium, and I'm not kidding. We all have different opinions on politics and issues, but we all have mouths. And I want yours to be as clean as possible, with teeth as bright as they were meant to be. I will never be without My Magic Mud. It's a little surprising, but man, does it work. If you only listen to one thing I say ever, go to mymagicmud.com and get 20% off with code FTL. mymagicmud.com, code FTL.
The LRN.FM's social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and our main feed that includes everything. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
There are basically two types of advertising: direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
We're still not sure why you'd want to watch, but our video feed is streaming nightly for free at cam.freetalklive.com.
Welcome back to the program. Thanks for tuning in and listening, everybody. This is Free Talk Live. If you want to get your voice on the radio, dial 603-283-6160. Again, 603-283-6160. In the studio tonight, it's myself, the captain.
Angie.
And Bonnie.
And I want to tell you that Bitcoin.com is the best source for learning about cryptocurrency. You can go there right now, click on Get Started at the top of the page. Once you do that, you will find a cornucopia of information that is neatly organized by your needs. There's no longer any excuse to be ignorant of this insanely important and world-changing information. If you're already a knowledgeable crypto user, please check out news.bitcoin.com, where you can get all the latest headlines of the news that's relevant to you. Bitcoin.com is your source for buying cryptocurrency, getting a wallet, mining, trading, and all the latest cryptocurrency news, all on a very slick and easy-to-use website. Please visit bitcoin.com. All right. So we know that they're going to grow some weed at a former police academy building property, 4.4 acres. Did you know that U.S. cops, speaking of training facilities, that United States cops train far less and kill far more than all other developed countries?
I am not surprised.
Nope.
I'm not either, but I think that this is probably a fact that the general public is not aware of.
I wonder what the difference is. How long do they train?
I don't know. The article starts out, this is from the Free Thought Project, by the way, by Matt Agarist. Ever wonder why cops yell, "Quit resisting," as they beat a person who's not actually resisting? Or why they shoot people who pose no threat? Maybe the answer is right in front of us. Many folks who are given authorization to use deadly force and authority to kidnap and cage citizens aren't the sharpest tools in the shed. One would think that giving someone so much authority should come with testing their intelligence for competence. However, one would be wrong. And we'll talk more about this in just a bit. But first, we have Major Payne calling from Michigan. Major, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, guys, how you doing? It tickled me when I found out that this was a police grounds. Would you say it was a training center?
Police academy.
How
Yeah, police academy.
It was an academy. Oh, yeah, where they train the minds full of dead mush.
Exactly.
All right, I think that the low bidder on this property in Flint was maybe a cousin of old Gretchen the Great, our governor here. I think his name was probably Joe Obidden.
Joe Obidden? Joe
Yeah,
Underbidden, maybe. Joe Underbidden.
Oh, my God.
Joe Lowbidden.
Yeah, well, Joe Pipeline and Joe Smoking, Joe.
One of those shows.
I called you a couple years ago when they first legalized pot here in Michigan from Grandpa's greenhouse. It was actually a good day. But things have gone to hell in the handbasket since then, as we all know. Here, I'm gonna give you guys another tickle. Okay, alcohol consumption has gone up 500%, according to the FDA or whoever keeps track of such things, since the COVIS, right?
Isn't that the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms that should keep that stat?
Probably, but they've got enough to do. They don't know where their pistol is.
All right, 500% gone.
So anyway, I've known a lot of alcoholics over the years, and the breakfast of champions for an alcoholic is a good Bloody Mary. Now, you know where that name came from?
No.
Oh, Mary, Queen of Scots, Bloody Mary.
I don't know who that is.
I've summoned her.
Well,
in the mirror.
Do a little research. She was back in about 1500. She killed many people just after Scotland got southern England.
And then
they were bequeathed by the kings because they got tired of the Vikings raiding them.
What did
so
she
they
kill
gave Scotland to the Vikings, and then Scotland didn't have nobody to pick on, so they decided to go pick on Ireland because we were right across the canal there.
So how did the drink become named after her?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just putting two and two. I'm just putting two and two together.
Its real name in southern states is a michelada. Probably
a michelada?
pronouncing it wrong. Yeah.
What is a Bloody
they put
Mary?
a hot twist
Tomato
in
juice?
it down there, though.
Bloody Mary, it's tomato juice, horseradish, Worcestershire, however you want to pronounce that. It's the worst Chestershire sauce.
Worcestershire.
Yeah, Worcestershire sauce.
Celery.
Worcester sauce.
Totally
Worcestershire.
Worcestershire.
Yeah, and then vodka, lots of vodka and ice.
Yes, like about a third vodka at least.
And then it'll be garnished with like a stick of celery or a pickled asparagus, which
So
is
we
my
could do
favorite.
vodka and tomato soup. We'd have a Bloody Mary.
Well, the best one I ever had was in a bar on the side of Houghton Lake, and it had a dill pickle and a stick of celery, and they whacked it with a good hit of Tabasco, and I think they used V8 instead of tomato juice.
It actually sounds kind of good.
Yeah, if you use tomato juice, you have to add the horseradish and the
Worcestershire.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, thanks for the call tonight, Major Payne.
I can tell you one thing, Major Payne. Captain and I's alcohol consumption is about to go up 500% after the show
because it's his birthday.
Woohoo!
I'm going to need every drop. Bloody Mary, Mary of England, 1516 to 1558, Queen of England and Ireland, so called because of her execution of numerous Protestants. Let's see, where's Bloody Mary, the drink? Bloody Mary, music, people, television.
I wonder if the people she killed are mostly men.
That'd be cool. I'm just kidding.
Right? I mean, that was the first thing that came to mind.
Live.
I was like, well,
we need her on here.
We can have Bloody Marys.
Bloody Mary was invented in the 1920s or 1930s.
Invented? Oh, the
because it took them a decade to drinking to figure out who made it, apparently. There are various theories as to the origin of the drink and its name. It has many variants, most notably the Red Snapper, also called the Bloody Margaret, the Virgin Mary, which is a Bloody Mary with no booze, the Caesar, I don't remember what the difference is there, and the Micheladia.
Yeah, but
that was the one you said.
Yeah, but
it's
Michelada.
Yeah.
That's how I say it, I think. But I actually realized it's totally different when you guys said the ingredients to a Bloody Mary, because a Michelada is clam juice, tomato juice, and a beer, and like tahini and lime. Totally different.
All right. Well, let's circle back to how poorly trained cops are, because, well, you'll need a drink after you hear all of this. One would think giving someone so much authority should come with testing for intelligence and competence. However, one would be wrong. In an analysis conducted by TFTP in 2014, we found that hairstylists in nearly every state are required to have significantly more training than men and women who are given a badge and a gun and sent out into our neighborhoods. Below are just a few examples. New York has one of the lowest requirements in order to become a licensed cosmetologist. However, it's still 36% more required training than a cop must undergo, coming in at 1,000 hours.
That must be why women are prettier in the South. They need less training for cosmetology school up here.
That's funny.
Interesting. I didn't quite get that until you explained it. Thank you for... Is that girl-splaining?
Oh, yeah, I was girl-splaining.
Is it woman-splaining?
I was woman-splaining to you.
Yes, thank you. Speaking of the South, North Carolina police...
Ooh, that's where I'm from.
Well, maybe you should read this then. North Carolina police must complete...
North Carolina police must complete the basic law enforcement training curriculum, which consists of a mere 620 hours.
Nice.
Oh, my goodness.
I need you to do some voiceovers.
I'm down. Let's do it.
The average North Carolina hairstylist is required to complete 2.4 times more training at 1,500 hours, and they will never be tasked with serving a no-knock warrant or shaking down potential drug dealers.
But they know how.
I was literally right. Like, I seriously got to the bottom of it. Southern women are more pretty.
It's like you're psychic.
I'm psychic.
Psychic Bonnie.
I say it all the time.
Psychic, whatever.
Psychic sidekick.
Ooh, I like that.
In Chicago, Illinois, the boys in blue have one of the highest requirements for hours completed to become a cop, and it comes in at 1,000 hours. This all sounds like the same. Illinois hairdressers are still required to complete 500 more hours than police. New Mexico, whose track record over the last several years has sparked a special investigation by the Justice Department, ironically lowered their required amount of training to be a police officer in 2014. The state mandate for basic police training was slashed by more than 25%, from 22 weeks to 16 weeks to total 650 hours.
They're struggling.
Hour number 3 of Free Talk Live is next.
What if you want to hear the latest episode of Free Talk Live, but all you have is your phone, you forgot to download our archive, and you have no data connection? You can call our Listen line at 641-793-0191. That's a long-distance number, so you may incur charges. If not, listen as long as you want. 641-793-0191. The Free Talk Live listen line, 641-793-0191.
Do you feel like your nation, state, or community no longer holds your values? Have you dreamt of a place where people agree that liberty is important and are free to pursue their projects so long as they respect the property of others? There are many people just like you that are discovering freeprivatecities.com. Their social media links are at the upper right of the page at freeprivatecities.com. All skill levels will be needed when the first of the Free Private Cities opens. It's sooner than you think. Stop arguing and build. freeprivatecities.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
Tired of cancel culture? Sick of mega tech corporations holding an axe over your head? Join the LRN.FM Matrix chat server. It's self-hosted, so no one else can tell us what to do or say. Don't like the existing channels? You can make your own. You can even connect into some of our channels from other Matrix servers. It's federated. For the full LRN.FM Matrix experience, though, you should join our server via the step-by-step instructions at chat.lrn.fm. Chat.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Sifting through evidence. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. Police in California are looking for answers after a mass shooting this morning at a light rail yard in San Jose.
Santa Clara County Sheriff spokesman Russell Davis says a Valley Transportation Authority employee opened fire Wednesday morning in the rail yard, killing 8 people before killing himself. When they responded to the scene, one of their bomb-sniffing dogs hit on something.
Immediately, we activated the Santa Clara County Sheriff's Office bomb squad, and they're going to use their protocol and pretty much canvass that whole area to ensure that it's safe for our investigators to go in and conduct their investigation at that point. So it's going to be a very timely, methodical. We're going to be there throughout the night.
Separately, there was a house fire in the city of San Jose, and it may be connected to the shooter. The mayor said rounds of ammunition were found inside that home. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
The suspect in the murder of an Iowa college student took the stand in his own defense at his trial in Davenport. Christian Rivera, speaking through a translator, told the jury 2 masked men were responsible for the death of Molly Tibbetts in 2018, but forced him to take part.
The bigger one, I could see that he had a gun, and the smaller one, I could see that he had a knife.
Rivera was arrested after his truck was spotted on video following Tibbetts while she was out for a run. Police say he led them to her body and confessed to the crime. Closing statements are expected tomorrow. He faces life in prison if he's convicted. A third antibody drug against COVID-19 has been given emergency use authorization by the FDA. The drug from GlaxoSmithKline is for people with mild to moderate cases of the virus who face extra risks of severe illness. Beloved children's author and illustrator Eric Carle, whose 1969 classic, The Very Hungry Caterpillar, and other books became part of childhood for generations, has died at his studio in Massachusetts. He was 91. America is listening to Fox News.
You're still running your business on QuickBooks? More like quicksand. The bigger your company grows, the faster you sync with outdated software. NetSuite by Oracle is the scalable solution to run all key back-office operations, no matter how big your company grows. 93% of surveyed organizations increased visibility and control since making the switch from QuickBooks to NetSuite. Right now, NetSuite is offering a one-of-a-kind financing program. Head to netsuite.com/Fox. That's special financing at netsuite.com/Fox, netsuite.com/Fox.
A bill affecting transgender children and team sports fails in Texas.
A Texas Senate bill dictating which sports teams transgender students can play on fails to pass the House before its last major deadline. The GOP-led House in Texas postponing debate on the bill late Tuesday after delays from Democratic lawmakers in the chamber, which had more than 100 bills on its agenda. The GOP-backed Senate Bill 29 requires transgender student athletes to play on sports teams based on their sex assigned at birth in instead of their gender identity. The clock also ran out on some other Democratic-opposed legislation, including one banning social media content moderation based on viewpoint. Lillian Wu, Fox News.
A judge has rejected Bayer's $2 billion class action proposal to resolve future lawsuits that claim its Roundup weed killer causes cancer, saying the proposal would accomplish a lot for Monsanto, which Bayer bought and acquired in 2018, and far less for the Roundup users who are currently healthy. A landmark court victory for environmental groups as an oil giant in Europe is ordered to get greener.
A court in the Netherlands has ruled Shell's plans for reducing its greenhouse gas emissions don't go far enough. Instead, a judge has given the company an order to cut emissions by 45% by the end of the decade compared with 2019. The lawsuit was brought by environmental activists who say the victory will change the world, potentially setting a precedent for similar cases. Shell.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
Sea anemones are the most disgusting of all tidal creatures. Their thick tentacle arms are engorged with the collected urine that makes up much of tide pools. Whale urine, fish urine, otter urine, crab urine, all sucked up by the moon and deposited in these natural outhouses. Clownfish share a symbiotic relationship with sea anemones. The clownfish cleans the sea anemone. In exchange, the anemone sprays urine on the face of the clownfish. It's one fetishistic delight. Contrary to popular belief, sea urchins are not in fact animals. Indeed, they are not alive at all. They are simply the clumped-together leavings of the ocean's denizens.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for listening to Free Talk Live. We're a live call-in radio program where you can take control of the airwaves and talk about whatever is on your mind. The telephone number for you to do that is 603-283-6160. Again, 603-283-6160. In the studio tonight, it's myself, the Reverend Captain Kickass, joining me.
Angie.
And Bonnie.
On March 16th of 2021, government agencies conspired together and raided, nay, no-knock raided, or terrorized, if you will, the following: the Free Talk Live studio, the Bitcoin Embassy, the homes of Aria DiMezzo, Renee and Andy Spinella, and Colleen Fordham. 6 people were arrested, and we refer to these people as the Crypto Six. They were kidnapped and held in cages. 4 of them were released on some sort of bail conditions. Ian Freeman was held for just shy of 70 days, and he's just freshly been able to return here. We're thankful for that. But Nobody, that's the person named Nobody, formerly known as Rich Paul, he remains in custody. What can you do to help? Well, first, visit thecrypto6.com. There's a number of bits of information there for you to peruse, including a video of the events of the day. And you can also donate to their legal defense fund in a variety of cryptocurrencies or in regular USD. That's dollars to the rest of you. Because these charges are not a joke. It's going to take a serious legal effort and many experts to protect the Crypto 6 from further aggression from the state. This case is very likely to set precedent that will affect the world of cryptocurrency for decades to come. Help them in their fight for liberty and financial freedom. Visit thecrypto6.com. Again, thecrypto6.com. All right, so we were talking about the lack of training that cops receive and comparing them to, what was it, cosmetologists?
Yep, people who do hair, nails.
They actually are required to get more training than police officers in most places. And while it may be easy for some to write off police killings as a problem of American gun culture, this is not a major factor. According to the same report, Finland has one of the highest gun ownership rates in Europe, with around 32 civilian firearms per 100 people. But incidents of police shooting civilians are extremely rare. We could only find 9 examples of police killings in Finland in the last 2 decades, one of which was an accidental shooting of a prison guard. What's more, as the Free Thought Project reported last month, the majority of police killings involve calls in which there was no crime or the suspect is only suspected of a nonviolent offense. Most killings began with the police responding to suspected nonviolent offenses or cases where no crime was reported, according to a report from policeviolence.org. Of the 1,127 people killed by police in 2020, only 277 of them were suspected of a violent offense. The majority, 658, were suspected of a nonviolent offense or no crime at all, while another 121 were killed over a traffic violation. While there's no direct correlation between lack of training and increase in killing, it's obvious that the training police are receiving in the United States is at least partially responsible for the massive death toll. Obviously, however, the problem is multifaceted. I mean, if you... sorry, let me rephrase that. I measure systems based on the outcome, right? So if I design a mousetrap, I want to see it actually capture mice.
Okay.
Right? Now, how do I know how effective it is in the marketplace? Well, you have to measure it against other mousetraps. So does mine catch more? If it does, then mine's a superior product, right? Now, if the government set out to put police into your neighborhoods to actually protect and serve you, then they would measure that outcome. How many people did they protect? How many people did they serve? Those would be the measurables of the police department, and that is not happening.
No, not at all.
And so then you have to ask yourself, well, what is their desired outcome? Because the police cruisers all say something like to protect and serve on them.
Do they all still say that?
Well, many of them do. Whom are they protecting and serving?
Themselves, each other, the government.
That's right.
They're kings and overlords.
Yes.
You know what this article makes me think of? I remember in, I think, 2016, there was a story that came out, and I think it was Fee that covered it, that I saw it, that in Georgia, there were these black women who were having people that they knew in their community come over to their house, and they were getting paid to braid like little girls' hair, or I guess a grown woman's hair too.
Yeah.
And the police came and, like, I don't know if they raided them, but they shut this down because they didn't have cosmetology licenses to braid each other's hair and voluntarily get paid for it. And it would just be really silly if the cops had less training than is required for hair braiding classes or whatever.
If they tried, like Grandma used to cut all of the cousins' hair, including mine, and it consisted of her setting up a chair in the basement near the laundry area, and it was bowl cut style, right? She grabbed the barber scissors and just, right, and all of the kids would get basically the same haircut.
This is me cutting Aiden's hair.
Did she need a license for that? No.
But she didn't charge you, so they're not going to come shut her down. But now, if they would have tipped these people instead of saying, "Hey, I'll charge you $80 or $20 to braid your hair," they could say, "Well, I can't charge you anything, but if you would like to tip me, then I'm happy to do it." And I know this because as a massage therapist, I didn't get my license, but as a massage therapist, I can't charge people because I don't have a license in the state of New Hampshire. In Vermont, I could, but I can go to someone's house and say, "Yes, I'm happy to give you a 50-minute massage. You're welcome to tip me. The suggested tip amount is da 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 da." And then I won't get in trouble.
That's interesting. The hoops you have to jump through to provide a product or service of value to somebody who is voluntarily willing to pay it.
It's all about terminology, what you say.
Yeah.
Because if you say the wrong thing, then you're going to get in trouble. They're going to come after you.
Again, I mentioned it earlier. The stupid, it burns. I'm going to move off of this particular subject because there's something else I want to talk about. You guys, I'm sure, have heard how there's been a bunch of incentives to get the COVID vaccine or one of the 3 COVID vaccines.
No, I don't know about any incentives.
Really?
No, really.
Oh, so they've been giving away free Krispy Kreme donuts.
Oh, okay.
If you go get the jab and then you show you get a free
There's
donut.
not even a Krispy Kreme here.
No, there isn't. There's places where they're giving away a free beer. You bring in your thing and you sit down and they give you a free beer.
I don't drink beer.
There's in Ohio, they're doing sort of a lottery kind of a thing.
Okay.
Where they're giving away $1 million a day for 5 days to people who have gotten the vaccine.
No, I
they're
mean, that
giving
might
you
be
a chance.
incentives.
Sorry, they're giving you a chance to win $1 million.
Right, yeah, it's a lottery type thing, right? So you put you throw your name in the hat, they draw a name, and if it's you
and then the pre-selected government worker's son gets it anyway.
Of course, because we know how these things work. There's more incentives now. This is from thesun.com, a quality rag, I must say. But this says, Justice Jab, offenders are getting sentences cut in half.
Oh my gosh.
If they get the vaccine under shocking new policy.
What offenders? Like, do they have to be nonviolent? Or are they just like, here, this pedophile guy, he's going to get this vaccine and he's going to be let out?
Let's see how good this particular journalist is. Certain offenders could get their sentences cut in half if they agree to get the COVID vaccine in a shocking new policy. Georgia's Hall and Dawson counties are offering this incentive in an effort to increase COVID vaccination rates among adults. This incentive will be available to people doing community service as part of their sentence. Hall County Court Administrator Jason Stevenson said that judges can offer up to 20 to 40 hours for those qualified to participate. Stevenson spoke about the new project, saying, "In our judge's view, every shot in the arm is a service to the community." Oh, that's as ridiculous as I think anything I've ever heard. 603-283-6160. Would you take the jab for less community service?
A newly recruited search and rescue officer, Marshall Hunter was resigned to a life of rescuing wayward spacefarers and derelict satellites. But when a billionaire couple goes missing, his own ship is disabled during the rescue. With communication satellites suddenly failing and lunar mineral shipments disappearing in transit, the crew suspects it's more than a coincidence, and Hunter must choose between salvation and sacrifice to save his crewmates and their civilian charges. Frontier by Patrick Childs and BingBooks.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Do you feel like your nation, state, or community no longer holds your values? Have you dreamt of a place where people agree that liberty is important and are free to pursue their projects so long as they respect the property of others? There are many people just like you that are discovering freeprivatecities.com. Their social media links are at the upper right of the page at freeprivatecities.com. All skill levels will be needed when the first of the Free Private Cities opens. It's sooner than you think. Stop arguing and build. freeprivatecities.com.
On March 16th of this year, a joint government task force raided the New Hampshire Bitcoin Embassy, the Mighty Moose Mart, the homes of Aria DiMezzo, Andy and Renee Spinella, Colleen Fordham, a grandmother, and perhaps most relevant, the studios of Free Talk Live. The Crypto Six were arrested, most were released, but Rich Paul, also known as Nobody, and Ian Freeman both remain in custody. We've been in contact with attorneys that say no crime even appears to have been committed, but that didn't stop the Joint Thug Task Force from ripping out wires from the back of our broadcast stacks, taking Free Talk Live off the air, violating our and your First Amendment rights. You can go to thecrypto6.com and donate to fight against these charges. But as importantly, contact media and tell them about this outrage. This case is likely to set precedent for the use of cryptocurrency well into the future. Help our fight for liberty and financial freedom at thecrypto6.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com. Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you're helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Yep, we still do email. Drop your email address in the entry box at freetalklive.com, and you'll be kept in the loop with Free Talk Live.
Welcome back. Thanks for listening to Free Talk Live. The telephone number here is 603-283-6160. We'll get to your calls and thoughts momentarily. Again, 603-283-6160. In the studio tonight, it's myself, the captain.
Angie.
And Bonnie.
You can join us, well, at least me. Are you guys going to Fork Fest?
Yes, I'll be there for 19 days.
That's a long time.
Right?
Wait, you got to be there before and after?
Yeah, before and after. Before the 18th of June to the 7th of July.
You are a trooper.
Woohoo!
Well, you can join us and other liberty-minded voluntarists, anarchists, and libertarians from June 28th through July 4th for Forkfest 2021 at Rogers Campground in the beautiful White Mountains of New Hampshire. Forkfest happens the week after the Porcupine Freedom Festival, but Forkfest is decentralized, and that means there's no ticket cost and no one's in charge, which makes it all the more fun. All you have to do is reserve your camping site, RV site, or motel room with Rogers Campground for June 28th through July 4th. I can't think of a better place to celebrate Independence Day than around other freedom-loving people in the Shire. You can find out more at the unofficial website, forkfest.party, where you can connect with other attendees. You can find the unofficial Telegram chat link and also the unofficial forum. Again, links to those are at forkfest.party. We hope to see you there. All right, so we've been talking about this article from The Sun, where apparently one of the newest incentives to try and get people to take one of the vaccines is for the city to offer a reduction in hours of community service to anybody who's been sentenced to community service if they'll agree to get the shot. That seems preposterous.
I thought whenever you talked about the article at the beginning that it was going to be like you can get your sentence, like if you're sentenced to jail.
Well, of course you did. That was the headline, right?
Yeah, that would have made it so much better.
So it's a sensational newspaper. They sensationalize everything.
Great source.
Well, how are they going to be corrected?
Well, it's just community service. So, I mean, really, all they're doing is like sweeping floors and working at community kitchens or
yard work.
Yeah, picking up things on the side of the road.
It's not correcting them? It's not meant to correct them?
Well, the jab's going to kill them, so they're not going to have to worry about them in a certain amount of time.
The jabs probably make them, at least, if not kill them, make them more compliant and docile.
Yeah, they're going to be sick and lethargic.
So you've answered your own question.
Yeah, you're right.
Very well. Let's go to somebody calling in. Before I bring them on the line, I want to warn everybody that this person says their name is Nobody. They're not the nobody that we know. That's the host here that's currently still being held hostage by the state. But this is a nobody calling from Texas. Nobody, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yes, sir. I thought Nobody was a pretty good anonymous name, and I chose that a few months ago before I knew about your Nobody.
Wow.
There's room enough in the world for multiple nobodies.
However, I wanted to talk about the police. That was your first topic this evening. And I do listen to you regularly, but I've never had a policeman help me ever. Anytime that I ever needed any help, it was always some law that prevented them from helping me.
Yeah, and you're not alone.
Okay, but on the other hand, if a policeman or law enforcement officer pulls me over, I do not say, "Hey, you MF, what you trying to do?" And I don't, if they want to put me in handcuffs and search my car, I don't resist.
So you'll just willingly let them search your car with no probable cause?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to use the argument that you're expecting me to use, but I don't want to get shot.
What do you expect that I would think you would use?
If you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to worry about. It's a privacy thing, which it doesn't work out. I mean, I'm a kind of a privacy guy, and I think that's very important. That you don't want people, snooping on your business whenever it's none of their business.
Well, you're
right. Does that make me a libertarian?
Almost. I mean,
I don't know.
Like the first part is that do you subscribe to the non-aggression principle? That is to say, do you think that all human interaction should be voluntary?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
But I listened to this crazy duck farmer from Texas, too, so I've been all through that. But I wanted to bring up another topic on a talk radio subject, if that's okay.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. There is this, I guess it's kind of a right-wing theory that big tech is censoring people's talk on, like, let's say Twitter, or I don't know if I can say that on air, but other Facebook, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay. And there's a big push like, oh, big tech is evil, and they're censoring our speech. But there's a talk radio host, I'm not going to mention any names, but I think he calls himself the Great One, who is supposed to have a buddy. Can I say somebody's name online?
I mean, you can say whatever you want as long as it's not a bad word.
Okay. Well, there's this guy. He's a talk radio guy. Sometimes he steps in. He's kind of a personality online, Dan Bongino, who's supposed to be part of a parlor that a big organization, Amazon, shut down their servers so that they couldn't have a free speech.
Right.
This certain radio host is promoting his new book on the Amazon that's supposed to be big tech censoring speech, and that is messed up his Dan.
Wait, so he wrote a book, and now the book is being sold on Amazon, talking about how Amazon took down. That's brilliant.
Yes. And I just wanted to say that. Thank you guys so much for putting me on the air.
You're welcome.
We
Thanks for the
appreciate
call.
Nobody. I mean, that's one way to get around it, right?
Right.
You know, I mean, use one form of media to, work around the form of media that has censored you. And
Don't
then
they have to approve it?
Also, well, because it's printed media,
Well,
they have
Amazon?
different rules.
I'm a really suspicious person of like the government and big companies and stuff like that. My theory immediately is they created this, I got censored story just so they could sell the books and make more conservatives freak out and be anti-private businesses making their own decisions. Because that's what they're kind of turning conservatives into. Conservatives are like, Facebook should not be allowed to censor me. So there's that outlook.
Yeah, I guess there are a few social medias out there that, aren't censored, but none of them really compete with the big ones, Twitter, Facebook.
Mm-hmm. But that's the system issue instead of...
Well, it's a matter of building the platform into something that people want to join. And not just people that are, tired of the big tech censorship, but people who, the regular folk who use Facebook, right? It's not catering to those people yet. 603-283-6160. More Free Talk Live coming up.
Carl Watner, longtime proponent of a voluntary society, died last December. You may have seen his articles published on his website, voluntarist.com, in his newsletter, The Voluntarist, the Mises Institute, or elsewhere over the last 40 years. His newest book, I Must Speak Out, Volume 2, The Best of the Voluntarist, is now available via Liberty Under Attack Publications. This 430-page second volume spans the years of 2000 through 2020 and includes articles by Carl Watner, Hans Hermann Hoppe, Carl Hess, Benjamin Tucker, George H. Smith, Lysander Spooner, Pete Eyre, Joyce Brand, and many others. I Must Speak Out is for the newly initiated, the veteran voluntarist, or anywhere in between. Buy the book now at libertyunderattack.com/voluntarist. For more great content on building a voluntary society and for Carl's extensive archives, check out voluntarist.com.
Join liberty-minded voluntarists, anarchists, and libertarians from June 28th through July 4th for ForkFest 2021 at Rogers Campground in the beautiful White Mountains of New Hampshire. ForkFest happens the week after the Porcupine Freedom Festival, and ForkFest is decentralized, which means no one is in charge. That also means there's no ticket cost. Just reserve your camping, RV site, or motel room with Rogers Campground for June 28th through July 4th. Where better to celebrate Independence Day than around other freedom-loving activists in the Shire? You can relax and enjoy the camaraderie of like-minded people, or you can create whatever experience or event you'd like others to have. If you're planning an event for ForkFest, be sure to let others know in advance. You can connect with fellow ForkFesters via the unofficial Telegram chat or the ForkFest forum. Links to those are on the unofficial website, forkfest.party. Mark your calendar for June 28th through July 4th, 2021. We'll see you at forkfest.party. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Coming up a little later, the 10 best careers for someone at your level of attractiveness.
Oh, but right now we have something truly incredible for you. Kenneth Quinn is a real-life psychic medium who claims that he can communicate with dead acquaintances. He's written a new book. It's called Small Talk from Beyond, Speaking with Distant Relatives and Friends of Friends Who Have Passed.
Hi, Kenneth.
Good to see you. Now, Kenneth, you've written that you're able to connect people with the spirits of their old college professors or roommates that they didn't really know that well. When did you realize that you had this gift?
Well, it was the day after my cousin's friend's wife's funeral. I was at home and I suddenly felt a presence in the room with me. And I heard a voice say, "It's Vicky Salchek, Dale's wife."
Wow.
We made a Tim's birthday thing a while back, and we talked about how hard it is having a cat.
Fascinating.
This has been so amazing.
This has been fabulous. Thank you, Kenneth Quinn, for being our guest. Stay with us, because coming up next, we're going to show you how to lose some of that excessive weight by constantly picking at your skin.
This is the Onion News Network.
Got Telegram? You can follow our channel there and discuss show prep with other listeners at telegram.freetalklive.com.
Three, 283-6160. Grab a crayon, write it on the fridge. 603-283-6160. Maybe a can of spray paint from the garage and paint it on your driveway so you don't forget. That is the number you need to call in to Free Talk Live. In the studio tonight, it's myself,
Angie,
and Bonnie. Where did Bonnie go? What'd you do, Angie?
She went to feed the dog.
What did you do with Bonnie?
She's back. Woohoo!
Oh, you got that flashlight on again. And
Bonnie.
All right, thank you. I feel much better now. We've been talking about this article from The Sun where apparently they're offering reduced, they're calling it sentences, but if you've been sentenced to community service, why, they'll give you up to 40 hours of reduced sentence if you agree to get vaccine.
It's like they're admitting that like the community service doesn't actually do anything.
It's exactly what they're doing.
We can just arbitrarily cut it in half if you do this other thing we want you to do more.
I mean, basically what they're saying is, well, you're our slaves for, this period of time anyway, so if you want to get out of slavery sooner, why, get this needle in your arm.
Come get branded.
Like, yeah.
The average American's not going to care, though.
Well, they already don't.
Exactly.
For some reason, or for some offenders, it does seem appropriate to recognize that the time and the cost involved are perhaps lining up childcare, taking time off from work, arranging for transportation, making it to a vaccination site not once, but twice. This recognizes the commitment they've made in doing that. Oh, they're saving some time. Court leaders are trying to avoid pressuring people into getting the vaccine, but rather making those that qualify aware of the benefits. Okay, tell me the benefits of the vaccine. Ready? Go.
Nobody knows.
That's
it's
right.
a question mark.
I know.
It's so new that we're unsure what the benefits might be.
Even the FDA doesn't know. They don't even claim to know. They just went ahead and let these vaccine manufacturers skip all of the regular processes and trials and all that kind of stuff and granted them an emergency exception.
They've washed their hands of the...
While also making sure that these companies can't be held liable.
That's the biggest red flag. I mean, why would you go and get a vaccine that they're saying that if this vaccine screws you up, we are not going to be held responsible, but you better get it and you need it and we're going to give you some free donuts.
And reduced
For your health.
sentences and
Yep.
a free beer. Or there's a whole bunch of, or a chance to win $1 million.
Woo!
If the thing worked and it was effective, everybody be lining up to get one.
But the smart people, and a lot of people in the medical field who actually work with this stuff and they see people come through, they have decided they've opted out. They have the option and they've opted out because they know the repercussions of this in a few years.
Well, more to the point, they don't know what the repercussions could be.
Right, but they know that there's going to be some side effects that are not going to be positive and that they're not going to be stuck with some needle with some, vaccine that they have no idea what's going to do.
I still await the study on the number of people who suffered complications from all three of them, like a total number, as well as the number of people who died as a result of taking this.
I remember I read one time that there was, I don't know what strain it was, but there was one vaccine that if people took it, they were saying in 5 years, everyone who took that vaccine would be dead. And so can you imagine if 1/3 of the people who have received the vaccine in 5 years just dropped over?
Yeah, the only reason that I don't think it's quite that malicious is because it doesn't make sense for governments to sort of cull their tax base.
Well, okay, there's that. That's one way of looking at it. Another way of looking at it is just follow the money. The government might not be the one that is making this decision to kill people. It might just really be that these sleazy vaccine companies are like, we don't think it's going to kill people. We'll give you money and we're going to sell them, and they don't intend them to kill people, but you can't rush these things, you know.
Do you know if there are any towns or cities or states that require you to have the vaccine in order to get state help?
I haven't heard of that yet.
It's coming. If they haven't done it yet, then in order to get your housing or your food stamps or your medical care or anything like that, you're going to have that vaccine.
Right. Yeah. Any kind of welfare
and
program.
Your children, they're going to have it as well.
That is something that still has yet, like, I know that they're giving them down to the age of 12 now, which is disturbing, but...
Very disturbing. Yeah. They can't decide.
Especially in females, because it messes with their reproductive systems.
Yeah.
And that's already been shown to be happening.
Yep.
Other states are also offering incentives to increase vaccination averages. In Maryland, starting on Tuesday, one resident in the state who has received the COVID vaccine will win $40,000 every day as part of a program launched by Governor Larry Hogan and the Maryland Lottery. In New York, anyone who gets vaccinated will receive a $20 lottery ticket for the 5 million Mega Multiplier Lottery as part of the Vax and Scratch program.
Vax and Scratch.
That sounds like a venereal disease.
That's exactly. I was thinking about somebody scratching their butt. I was like,
ew.
Vax and Scratch, huh? You see the guy sitting next to you on the city bus, and he's scratching. Oh, Vax and Scratch.
Got your Vax and Scratch, huh?
Captain and Angie, have you guys heard of Tim and Eric's Awesome Show?
No, I haven't.
Of what?
Tim and Eric's Epic Awesome Show or something like that. It was a Adult Swim show, and it was actual people. It wasn't like a cartoon. And they would always do these skits, like all their shows were like just skits.
Okay.
And they would do these skits that were supposed to be commercials, like it was them and they were selling things. And they would always be selling really dangerous or really disgusting things, like pants that you can just poop in and never have to go to the bathroom because they're sealed. I love it. But they would always use the line, "It's for your health."
I've written a song.
That's what this is like.
I've written a song about that, or rewritten a song. You can find it at lordkickass.com. It's called S Your Pants, but S is like a whole word. It's to the tune of The Safety Dance by Men Without Hats, if you're from the 80s or otherwise infatuated with bad 80s pop music. You'll recognize that song. Something was brought to my mind recently along similar lines. It's a skit from the UCB, the Upright Citizens Brigade. And in this skit, it's two brothers. They're at a golf course. And the one brother is very successful, very confident. And the other brother is, having some problems. He's got, a big thing going on in his job. And, he needs that extra edge. So he asks his brother, hey, how do you do it? How do you, get that extra edge? This is a big deal for me. And he's like, okay, I'll tell you, but you have to not tell anybody else. And he goes, reach into your pocket. You got some change in there? He's like, yeah. You got some pennies in there? Like, yeah, those pennies have been in my A.
Oh my gosh.
Right? And so the skit continues on about like how this guy has been doing this activity for years and spreading them around in the like need a penny, take a penny. And that's what gives him the extra edge to, when he goes to close his power deal or whatever, right? It's super hilarious.
Everybody's touched my poop pennies.
Also, yeah, those are my ass pennies.
Ew.
Right? Yeah. It's an hilarious skit that you should go and check out. The UCB was kind of like Mad TV, the TV show. It was a little hit and miss. Some of it was really funny, some of it not so funny, but that particular skit blew me away the first time I saw it. I was laughing so hard.
I wonder if you could get high if you did that with dollars.
If you put them in your...
Sorry.
There's also a song called Boogie in Your Butt. It's by Bobby Jimmy and the Critters. It's also out of the 80s. The guy sounds just like Eddie Murphy as he sings this song. And it is another hilarious song.
Boogie in Your Butt.
Boogie in Your Butt.
I'll have to look that up.
603-283-6160. Again, Bobby, Jimmy, and the Critters, I believe, is the artist on that one.
Okay, thanks.
Just in case you needed to know. 603-283-6160 is the number if you'd like to call into Free Talk Live and talk about whatever is on your mind. More coming up. This is Free Talk Live.
Uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies. That's what the readers of freedomsphoenix.com get every day. freedomsphoenix.com, constantly providing the information, the real news about government policies, and the real relationship we all have with the coercive government, the real condition of the economy, innovations in technology, breakthroughs in energy, health, and computer science. Learn the truth well before it's admitted to in the lamestream media. The corporate media, nothing more than distributors of government propaganda, but now there's an alternative. freedomsphoenix.com. Constant news updates on the issues that affect your life in the most important ways. With liberty and property under constant attack, freedomsphoenix.com provides the understanding behind the propaganda, and it encourages the participation of its readers. Go to freedomsphoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, phoenix.com. freedomsphoenix.com. The revolution between the ears has already happened.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and our main feed that includes everything. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit shiresociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at shiresociety.com. That's shiresociety.com. What if you want to hear the latest episode of Free Talk Live, but all you have is your phone, you forgot to download our archive, and you have no data connection? You can call our Listen line at 641-793-0191. That's a long-distance number, so you may incur charges. If not, listen as long as you want. 641-793-0191. The Free Talk Live Listen line, 641-793-0191. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Do you appreciate what we do? Help us advertise, market, and promote for just $5 a month at amp.freetalklive.com.
Yes, it is Free Talk Live. Is it the final segment?
This is our yes. The show went by so fast.
What'd you do with Bonnie again?
I brought her back. She's here.
Okay. You keep disappearing. Are you a warlock?
I'm just, I don't know.
Well, wait, warlocks are gender specific, aren't they?
Yeah, what is it, Wiccan?
I think warlocks are dudes, right?
There are
A
dudes,
warlock
yeah.
is like a witch, right?
Is there?
I don't know.
It is. It's just a dude witch, as
Yeah.
far as I know, right?
It is a dude.
It's
I think it's a dude.
It's interesting that like there's gender specification amongst the world of the occult, so to speak. Anyway, it is
Priest
Free
and
Talk Live.
priestess. I'm the priestess of Free Talk Live. I'm just kidding.
Whoa, weird.
Of this electric chapel.
It is time for the Electric Chapel, and I and the Reverend Captain Kickass joining me.
Angie.
And Bonnie.
It is the final segment. We got no calls holding, so I need to issue a retraction. But before I do that, I need to say thank you to Teddy Graham.
Thank you, Teddy Graham.
Teddy Graham is a gold level amplifier, which means Teddy Graham gives $10 a month to help get this radio program onto more radio stations. We're currently on somewhere around 200 stations. We could be on 250, we could be on 300 or even more. But, you know, we could use a hand doing that kind of thing. It takes money and resources. If you become an amplifier, all you need to do is go to amp.freetalklive.com and check out. You get some little perks, and there's, you know, some special groups that you can be in once you're an amplifier. If you become one of them, you get those perks, but you also get to help us get onto more radio stations, and that's exactly what that money goes for. It doesn't go into my beer fund. It doesn't go to feed Bonnie's dog. It doesn't go to Angie's massage therapy, not business, her voluntary service that
not
she
a business.
doesn't provide to anybody.
Does go to my natty light habit. No, I'm just kidding.
I noticed you've switched brands today.
Yeah.
You've moved to, what is that, Bud Light? Anyway, you can find out all about the AMP program over at amp.freetalklive.com. Please, if you enjoy this program, the hosts, the co-hosts, if we've educated you, if you've learned something, or you've just been entertained, please consider becoming an amplifier. Thank you again, Teddy Graham. We appreciate your contribution. All right, so I need to issue a retraction. In the previous segment, I said that the song Boogie in Your Butt was by Bobby, Jimmy, and the Critters. I had to look it up because I'm like, well, my 80s knowledge might be a little rusty. And sure enough, I did say the guy sounded just like Eddie Murphy.
You did. I remember that.
And the reason he sounds just like Eddie Murphy is because
it's Eddie Murphy.
It was Eddie frickin' Murphy. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Didn't he put out a rap album and he didn't cuss or something? Or am I thinking of Will Smith? Yeah, it's Will Smith. Will Smith was like anti-cussing. And
yeah, there's
rap.
some names of songs that I can't mention here, but songs like Black Movie Theaters, Talking Cars, Doo-Doo Christmas Gifts, Boogie in Your Butt, Drinking Fathers, The Pope and Ronald Reagan, etc., and so on. That was Eddie Murphy's venture into the musical world. Boogie in Your Butt is a fantastic song. So Bobby, Jimmy, and the Critters, however, I learned of because of Dr. Demento, and also there was a radio station that featured one of the songs by them. They have a song called We Like Ugly Women.
You know what? They say that ugly women are better in bed.
There's a song much older than Bobby, Jimmy, and the Critters. They also did a song called Roaches that you might remember that was a little bit more popular. But there's an older song that says, if you want to be happy for the rest of your life, never make a pretty woman your wife.
I've heard that song.
So
Yeah.
for my personal point of view, get an ugly girl to marry you. So there you have it.
That's awesome.
We're free forming here on Free Talk Live. I'm out of stuff. What do you got? Anything?
Nothing.
Nothing?
No, I don't read the news.
Fill like 7 minutes.
I think I'm the only one who doesn't think this show went by very fast, and it's because all I have on my mind is me and Captain are going to go get drunk after this.
Because it's his birthday.
I do enjoy, I'm not afraid to say what I enjoy on the air. This is not an endorsement. They don't pay me to say this. There is a Vermont brewery called Shed, S-H-E-D.
Mm-hmm.
They make a brown ale called Mountain Ale. It's a rugged ale, according to their marketing on their label. It is 7.6% alcohol, which is very high.
That is a lot for a beer.
Which is why I love it.
What does the average beer have?
like 5.3.
Okay.
You know, some of it's 3.2.
So like your Bud Light or your Budweiser would have like 5 point something.
Yeah, this is probably double, you know, a regular beer. But it's also a brown ale, so the viscosity is high. It's a little thicker than like a Bud Light. Bud Light's pretty thin, easy to chug. The Shed Mountain Ale.
Does it still smell like horse pee?
No.
Okay.
Ew.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
I tried a sip of Captain Shed, and to me, a not huge beer drinker or like a connoisseur or anything, it tasted like Guinness.
It's closer to Guinness than it would be to Bud Light. Guinness is much thicker than the Shed Mountain Ale is because, well, I don't know why, but that's just how they make it. But also, Guinness, believe it or not, even though it's made in Ireland, it's the lowest alcohol content of most
What is
beers.
it?
It's like 3%.
Oh, wow. That's not much at all.
It might even be less than
Well,
that.
that's why they act like they can drink so much. Just
Well,
kidding.
the problem that I have with Guinness is that I drink 2 of those and I'm full. Like it sits in my gut and it doesn't go anywhere for a while because it's so thick. It's like a beer shake.
I can see that because whenever I see it like poured, it comes out with this froth that looks like cotton candy thickness.
Yeah, I joke about it being motor oil for your soul.
It's motor oil for your gut.
Well, for your soul too.
Yeah,
you know.
maybe.
However, one of my favorite bar cocktails ever is the Irish Car Bomb.
I've never heard of that.
So if you order it in an actual Irish pub, just order the Car Bomb.
Okay.
They get offended if you call it the Irish Car Bomb because you're specifically, you know, pointing out the Irish portion, right? And they like, it's a car bomb. Anybody could make one, right? So they don't like it.
I like the. Have you ever heard of chocolate cake shots?
Yes.
Those are delicious.
Now this is kind of in flavor. It's kind of close to that. When people who've never had one before taste one, they're like, it's kind of tastes like chocolate or like a cake or something. So all it is, it's just a shot glass with, you know, a bit of Jameson, mostly Jameson, and then it's topped off with Bailey's Irish Cream.
Okay.
On the top. And then you get a half a pint of Guinness. And then you take the shot glass with the Jameson and the Irish Cream and you drop it into the half pint of Guinness, and then you chug the whole thing. And I mean chug.
And it's a stupid way to do it because it hits your front teeth when you pull it back.
Well, so
Unless I guess you're smarter
that's only
than
for
me.
the inexperienced. Yes. There is a way to keep it from hitting your teeth. There are many ways, actually, but so it just depends on
Gotta
your
use that
preferred
tongue,
method.
Bonnie.
Yeah, Gene Simmons has a different way than anybody else. It's really personal preference, but it tastes like chocolate to me anyway. It's because it's the Irish cream and the Guinness kind of gives it this almost cake-like flavor to it, a creamy to it. It doesn't burn at all. Most people who want to drink whiskey, I don't like whiskey because of the burn, right? And when you take a shot, it kind of burns on the way down. If you do an Irish Car Bomb, there is no burn at all.
My
Zero.
favorite shots are pickle shots.
I've never had a pickle shot.
You take a shot of tequila and then you take a shot of pickle juice.
Oh, pickleback.
Pickleback?
Yeah.
Is that what you called it?
Yeah. So any shot with a shot of pickle juice, it's called a back, right? Some places when you order a Bloody Mary, they give you a beer back, which is a really small beer. So that when you drink your Bloody Mary, you can wash it, you can chase it with a beer. So a friend of mine back out west, we actually nicknamed him Pickleback, because he would want to do shots of whiskey, but he would always order a side of some pickle juice. And I'm like, what is that? He's like, pickleback.
It turns
you do your shot, and then you chase it with a little bit of pickle juice.
At least with the tequila, it just turns it into the flavor of a spicy pickle. Maybe I'm just really from Texas.
Oh.
Because they sell spicy pickles in the grocery stores there.
Yes. So now I'm really thinking about drinking.
Well, in North Carolina, they sell like pickled eggs.
Ooh, yeah.
Have you ever had a pickled egg?
I've seen them. They're pink in the grocery store, but no, I've never had one.
In Wisconsin, they have them in a big gallon-sized jar
that's exactly
behind
it.
the bar, and they're like, I don't know, 50 cents, two for $1 or something, whatever they are, or two for $1 a piece, or I don't know what they are. They also have pickled pig's feet.
Yes, they do have pickled pig's feet, yeah.
Pickled okra.
Ooh.
My grandpa makes pickled okra in Alabama.
In all of the bars in Wisconsin, you can walk into them and go, hey, you got dice? And they'll be like, sure. And they'll reach into the bar and they'll hand you a dice cup with like the leather bottom. It's all really nice,
like
and
these
5 dice in it.
For Yahtzee?
for playing drinking games.
Oh, really?
Now, I grew up in Wisconsin. I just thought this was at all bars. So then I leave Wisconsin. I go to a bar and I'm like, you got dice?
You can have
And
dice.
What? I'm sorry?
What are you talking
I'm
about?
like, dice. You know, like, is that a drink? I'm like, no, it's a cup with 5 dice.
Dice.
We're out of time. Thanks for listening, everybody. This has been Free Talk Live. Visit us at freetalklive.com. Listen to our archives. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.
The Terran Federation and the Terran League have been killing each other for decades. Sheltered, wealthy, and light years from the threat, the members of the 500 have no interest in changing that. When Rear Admiral Terrence Murphy is given governorship of a backwater system, a risk-free path to wealth and power is his for the taking. But Murphy is a man of honor, duty, and responsibility. He intends to stop the killing, whatever the cost. Governor, by David Weber and Richard Fox, from BaneBooks.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Breaking weather news. Belize is sunny and around 82 degrees every day this week.
What's the forecast for your life? If current politics and economic prospects are cramping your freedom, escape to the tropics. ECI Development has affordable second homes for you to own or rent in Belize and other tropical countries. Places with stable governments and